Welcome back to the action here at Houston Open 2026, coming to you live from this beautiful facility at Prairie View Cricket Complex. It's Atlanta Fire taking on the Baltimore Royals. Back-to-back games for Baltimore Royals, and unfortunately for them, coming off a loss as well in that game number 1. A quick toss update. It is Atlanta Fire who have won the toss, and they will have a bowl first. This is Manali Patel alongside Brian Walters, and we're all set to take you through the action of game number 2.
A traditional game this time in terms of the length, 20 overs. So the normal numbers that you'd expect, 4 overs per bowler, power play the first 6 overs, and something more maybe conventional, less frenetic than that first exciting match. And they'll open with spin. It is going to be Amila Ponso, left arm orthodox, bowling to Ritvik Behera to get started.
All set for ball number 1. Orthodox to start things off in so that's a direct hit. The question is asked, and the finger's gonna stay down. Not the most convincing fashion to start ball number 1 off if you're the batting side.
Tell you what, Janoy Drysdale at short fine leg, and the non-striker Unmukchand, his heart would have been in his mouth there. That is a direct hit, and even though it's not a dismissal, that sticks in the mind of the batters. Really good stuff here at start.
Tossed up delivery this time by Amila Aponzo. And just wait to see if that might have been wide. It is wide, yep. Nothing on that.
I actually pushed that one through Amila Aponzo, wanting to catch Ritvik Behera slipping, if you will. The first couple of runs on the way here.
Back in the middle, Unmukchand. I don't think he's taken that helmet off much at all. Game number 1, kept wickets as well. The only time he's not had that helmet on is when he was keeping to some of the pacers further back.
And some of the pacers he was actually keeping up. So his helmet is on the majority of the innings.
And he started exactly where he left off from in that first game. Excellent shot this. It's going to be the first boundary of the innings. 45 runs in game number 1 today for him. And he seems to be in top-notch form.
Such a lovely shot. Placed well. There's a man in the covers. And that races away to his right. That is Paul Palmer. And the first boundary of the day. The first one for Unmukchand in this match.
Mila Ponzo, another very experienced campaigner with the ball. Able to vary his pace, his variations. And Unmukchand missing out on the sweep this time.
I might add the conventional sweep. With a 20-over match, I don't think you'll see as many reverse sweeps as you saw in the first match.
Width on offer, and what a top shot this is. Up and over through the offside, and this is going to go all the way for a maximum. Poor delivery. Unmukchand makes the most of it.
Width on offer, but this is such a powerfully struck delivery, powerfully struck ball. Unmukchand, who is not physically very imposing, but times it sweetly. That ball never got more than 10 feet off the air, but still carrying all the way for 6 over extra cover. Brilliant shot from Unmukchand.
Leg side, high up in the air, and it is also going to find the boundary. He's done well, back-to-back 6s. And great to see a bowler being able to target all around the ground. It makes it so difficult for a bowler to actually find that consistency.
Angle from around the wicket, left-hander going into the pads of Unmukchand. helps himself easily to 6 runs. The first over in the first match, with these two only put on 2 runs in that first over. Already 18 in over here with 1 to come.
Flatter delivery. And it'll be a single to end a very expensive first over, 19 for none. I know we had said your captain back in the day would give you 20 runs in your spell, and we're at 19 and 1 over.
In 1 over. Just a different game, isn't it? Completely different game. Mid-powerplay generally is a very good bowler, bowling well during the power play, but he just gets taken apart here. Keeper. Interestingly, down here on the boundary, in front of us, Obaspinar with the Atlanta Fire. He typically is the one who opens the bowling during the power play. If you want a left arm orthodox during the power play, it typically is Obaspinar. So an interesting move to go with Amilo Ponso in that spot. And at least so far, from early returns, it does not seem to have been the right call. So Janoy Drysdale is the bowler, bowling over number 2. Tall, right-handed fast bowler. Essentially everything the opposite of Amilo Ponso, who's a short left-arm orthodox spinner.
It's very interesting to see that they did start with a spinner, and I think had the consistency been better from the bowler, it could have still worked out well. I just think for his class and his ability, Amilo Ponso was just a bit all over the place in that first over. Threaded through the gap, and excellent running this. They have sprinted across for 2 runs.
It's interesting. I don't mind starting with the spinner, but I would have started with the spinner from the southern end of the ground to have the batters hitting into the wind coming from the south. Choosing to essentially have the batters hit with the wind if they go straight is a curious choice, and at least again, based on the returns from that first over 19 runs, seems to not have been the correct one.
Leg side should be stopped, is stopped. Obaspinar, tall frame. Not the shortest of deliveries, but does very well to put that where it went.
Obaspinar is such a good fielder. As you said, very tall, but look at the athletic ability and just some of the best hands that you'll have anywhere in the country. Has taken dozens and dozens of spectacular catches on the boundary right here in the Houston Open over the years.
Very positive start from Unmukchand. And the impressive part is he's not relied on just the boundaries. Very happy to play into the gaps, rotate the strike.
We're in the presence of greatness. Oh my goodness. Have I died and gone to heaven? There's also a disproportionate number of Canadians in this building all of a sudden.
It's not every day that happens in the US.
Oh!
Big, massive in fact, as this has gone all the way for 6. Unmukchand is quite enjoying his time out in the middle. This is his 3rd maximum.
Oh! Short, but into his body. If you want that ball short, going over the top of off stump, maybe that's a different option. But short going into his body, easy for Unmukchand to get inside the line and helping himself to the first, make that the 2nd 6 of the innings. 3rd 6 of the innings.
Well bowled. Good delivery this.
Wow.
A up again. Damage done in the over. 2 overs gone, 31 for none.
So, an expensive first over bowl by Mid-powerplay. Went for 19. But when you have the ability to turn to a bowler who all he did was lead the entirety of the World Cup in wickets taken in the most recently completed World Cup, you go to that bowler. Shadley Van Skokvik, one of the best bowlers in the country, USA player, and for a very large percentage of the recently completed World Cup, the best bowler in the World Cup. From memory, I believe he took 12 wickets in that tournament. Absolutely looked the part, did a whole lot of good for himself personally, did a lot of good for the stature of USA cricket. Stakes are very different here. You could argue that the stakes are not quite as high, but he's still up against a very good batting unit. And the first ball is struck away through the offside for yet another boundary. My goodness, this pair is off and running, and they are looking very dangerous. Ritik Behera and Unmukchand. Ritik Behera himself, in fact, that's actually Mohammed, who is on strike. My apologies. We'll get the exact batter shortly, but Shadley Van Skokvik has conceded a 4 to start his spell. Quiet dot ball. Very frenetic start by this opening pair, and we'll nail down the exact names in a second. But the bigger picture here is that just 2 overs and 2 balls into this innings, you already have 35 runs on the board. Overall rate is frenetic. 15 runs and over to start. And the Atlanta Fire will want to quell this fast start by these 2 opening batters. So your batter is Mohammed Khan. So excuse the confusion there at the top, because it's Mohammed Khan who is going to be batting along with Unmukchand. Unmukchand dominant so far, 29 from 11. Mohammed Khan 5 from 3. Slower delivery. You saw him do that a lot in the World Cup. Shadley Van Skokvik getting this one a little too straight though, going down the leg side. So he'll want to re-bowl that, and he'll want that ball to be on the line of off stump. Shadley Van Skokvik, brilliant bowler. Absolutely brilliant. Not express, but generally very accurate. Swings the new ball, but his changes of pace are the biggest weapon that he has. And so far, even though, yes, this over has started out relatively expensive, at least for him, 6 runs from the first 4 legal deliveries, but he has the ability to take wickets. You saw him run through the middle order of the Indian team, no less. 4 wickets taken in that match. From memory, 4 for 25. And those subtle changes of pace generally is where you get the best out of Shadley Van Skokvik. Good deliver here. Played down the ground for a single. So the Baltimore Royals inserted into bat by Atlanta. Atlanta choosing to bowl first, captain, and yes, yet another former USA player, Stephen Taylor. Long-time serving USA player, actually. I think they would have wanted to have not gotten off to as expensive a start as they've conceded so far. Run rate 13.41 with 1 ball remaining here in over number 3. But having said that, 7 of the runs have come from this over. The other 2 overs, 31 runs. So you've done well here by changing and going to Shadley Van Skalkvik. Last ball of over number 3. Slower delivery, played into the offside. It is a good over. Even though the first ball from Shadley Van Skalkvik went for a boundary, he does well the rest of the way. Just 7 runs coming from the over total. End of over 3, 38 without loss. A few highlights. Unmukchand, look at this shot here. That one is the one that went for 6. And then another big one. And this is, for me, the best of all the shots. The little flare at the end there with the leg up in the air, a la Gordon Greenwich. And yes, those people who are as old as I am will remember that name. Gordon Greenwich, former West Indian great opening batter. But the best thing about him was the foot movement, the arrogant foot in the air after he played that hook shot. That's what you just saw from Unmukchand. But you still have gotten halfway through the power play. You want to put yourself in the position to do something to continue pulling things back. That first over from Shadley Van Skalkvik only going for 7. And it is now going to be another change in bowling. It's going to be Kamal Rabbi from the highway end, the southern end of the ground. Unmukchand 30 from 13. Kamal Rabbi will be wanting to see if he can knock over the imposing Unmukchand. Very slow run up, but all shoulders and all pace. Generates all of that pace from that delivery from his shoulders, Kamal Rabbi. So jogs in relatively slowly. He's not one of those bowlers who builds the momentum from his run up. It's all done through his shoulders. Conceding a single here. So you've gotten off to a decent start. And we'll see whether or not Kamal Rabbi, the former Bangladeshi first class player, will be able to break this opening partnership that is now worth 39. Couple of singles to start here, going well. And overall, you want to just continue to make sure that you pull things back. First 2 overs going for 31, but the last 8 balls have only gone for 9 runs. So that is pulling you back into the game. Maybe well too early to start talking about projections, but the current run rate, 12 and over, goes 12 and over, projects obviously to a score of 240. You're not going to want anything near that, even though these days 240 runs seems to be the norm in T20 cricket. In the air, Drew, diving attempt by the fielder, point, not able to get to it. It's in the air for a long time. And the fielder backward point, not quite able to get hands on it. So it'll be a single again into the outfield. So 3 straight singles to start over number 4. Let's look at that, how close this came to the fielder at backward point. Just to his left, not quite able to get to it. In fact, they got a couple of runs on that occasion. No, they got just 1. Interestingly, that ball, you would think, went far enough away that they might have been able to get a couple, but still just settling for 1. So 3 singles to start over number 4. Make that 4 straight singles. That's Oba Spinar in the deep at mid-wicket. Manala Patel, things have calmed down just a little bit after a very frenetic start with the bat.
Needed it as well. Just needed to pull that momentum back. Atlanta Fire. Unmukchand again giving that start for his side. 32 off 15, some lusty blows in that 32 so far. He's a batter that's very technical, and despite being very orthodox, does very well in T20 cricket. Unmukchand.
That is probably the perfect description of him. Look how late he plays this, right under his eyes. That's exactly what the batter or the coaches want you to do. Allow that ball to come all the way to you. Take all the time in the world to play it. Soft hands. Really, that form of batting has a home in any format of the game. But as you said, he's also able to turn it on and score heavily in T20 cricket.
Single to end a very good over for Atlanta Fire. 44 for none after 4.
So that graphic on your screen tells the story. Started out very quickly, but the scoring rate has slowed down since then. First over going for 19, second over 12, third over 7, and fourth over 6. So the Atlanta Fire conceding a lot of runs up front, but they have brought things back to what you'd expect a normal scoring rate to be in a T20. Overall scoring rate still 11, but that's because of the fast start that you got at the top of the order. Back to Shadley van Skalkvik. Where is that gone? Over the top of extra cover. With that thick outfield, the ball will stop and die. So that saves you a couple of runs probably.
I was actually out. I did get a lap in, a lap and a half when we had a break in between the 2 games. And the outfield's actually not too bad. It's just, I think the moisture, there's so much water underneath the grass from all the rain that they've received over the last couple of days that it's not so much the length of the grass as it is the amount of water logging that there is happening under there. Straight into the hands, as simple as you like, and that's going to bring on the first wicket. They break the partnership. It's not quite the wicket they would have wanted. They would have liked the wicket of Unmukchand, but a wicket's a wicket, and the partnership is broken.
Yeah, cut straight into the hands of Nitish Sudhini at backward point. Not able to keep this one down, Mohammed Khan, and a very straightforward catch. Struck firmly, but straight to Nitish Sudhini, and he did not have any trouble whatsoever with that. So the first wicket falls. 46 runs is what it was worth. Unmukchand, the danger man, is still there, but Mohammed Khan has been dismissed, and the Atlanta Fire striking 1 wicket so far in the power play. They've slowed things down tremendously in the last couple of overs, and so you like the fact that things have gone in your direction. So, new batter is in. The new batter, Ritwik Behera, who opened the batting in the first innings, or in the first match, I should say, and now coming in at the fall of the first wicket here in this match, Shadley van Skalkvik in amongst the wickets as he usually is. Solid deliver there, defended for no run.
A little surprised that they didn't actually open with this pair, because this partnership that they had in the first game was a great opening partnership.
Yep.
I was a little surprised to see that change, especially because it's back-to-back games for them. Just going to see this. We'll try and run it for a little bit longer, just a little celebration. We'll have to get another replay of that. Quick single. It's a very different celebration. I don't think I've seen one like that before. It's towards the end of the huddle. We'll have to see if this runs that late. Not quite. Still hydrating.
Oh, you certainly have to hydrate.
It is a warm day, actually. While I was getting that lap in, the humidity is quite high.
Unmukchand coming down the track. He's done that a couple of times already, and he wants to switch the momentum back to the batting side. Certainly the bowlers have wrested that momentum back from the Baltimore Royals, and Unmukchand 33 from 17 wants to continue to change that conversation. Not quite able to get it here though.
Under edge. And through to the keeper for a dot. I was expecting that ball to rise a little bit higher than it did. End of the 5th over, it's 48 for 1. So I'm going to ask you nice and early.
Uh-oh.
Who are you predicting is going to take this game?
You're asking me after 5
There's
overs.
the celebration. There's the celebration.
Interesting, very interesting celebration.
I'll call it a tickle.
It's a tickle. That's what we're going with, a tickle.
Yeah.
Back to Camera Rabbi. Oh, Unmukchand going big and down the ground for yet another 6.
He's picked this up beautifully to pick up yet another maximum to his name.
So Unmukchand, 44, correct me if I'm wrong, in the first match. And so far, 39 from 18 as we see that replay yet again. And yes, we're going to call it a tickle and leave it exactly at that. That ball thudding into the gloves of the keeper. Next delivery, going big again. How much of it does he get? Not enough, but it will land just short. Did it carry all the way? We'll see what umpire goes for 4. So Unmukchand is batting like he has a plane to catch. Another 4.
He's picked this up really well as well. Just falls inside the rope right there. Maximum the ball before, then a boundary, and he's really punishing the bowlers, Unmukchand.
Oh my goodness.
It's great to see the expression of Stephen Taylor on the maximum as it sailed over his head, looking back at the bowler asking, what was that?
Well, Unmukchand is such a good batter. If you miss your line, if you miss your length, he will punish you. And again, not physically imposing, but he can hit the ball very, very powerfully. And he is absolutely has business on his mind here. 43 from 19, 2 4s and 4 big 6s.
Just like misfield. And no real harm done, just the single. And if anything, Atlanta Fire will like to see the likes of Unmukchand at the non-striker's end more than at the striker's end. Officially lunchtime as well here. So Baltimore Royals, who are now playing back-to-back games, haven't quite had the chance to get a quick bite in. There wasn't much of a gap in between the 2 games.
If you are the Baltimore Royals, though, playing consecutive games, the second of which is happening during lunch, you would prefer to be batting first. Because obviously the 2 who are in the middle are the ones who are not able to eat, if you will. But the others you can bet in the pavilion are refreshing themselves as another 2 runs here. 13 from the over already, 2 to come.
Just can't imagine eating a meal and then going into bat. Just got to, pace how much exactly that you're going to eat. So a little bit tough, I suppose, in making sure that you get a bit of refueling, not too much that you might need a siesta out there.
Cut away and through. That really should have been stopped. You saw him take a really good catch earlier, Nitish Sudhini. This time fumbles this one and it goes away for 4.
The bowler not happy as well. Kumral just disappointed in that fielding effort. And at a time where the runs are free flowing, you need to try and create pressure. At the moment, there is no pressure whatsoever on the batters.
None.
I didn't get to say 5 runs away from his half century for Unmukchand in the last game because he did get out as I was going to say that. 6 runs away from his half century at the moment.
See, you just jinxed him. Why would you say that? The power of the jinx, it always works.
Almost chopped on. Thick inside edge, and they come across for what will now be 2 runs thanks for the misfield and the overthrows.
Oh,
3 runs.
wow. That is how you turn a single into 3, and that is the opposite of good fielding for the Atlanta Fire. They'll want to clean that up. 20 runs come from the last over of over number 6. Last over the power play is what I was trying to say. Look at this. That ball went no further than 25 yards away from the bat, and they still get 3 runs. So that's not going to be something that will make Captain Stephen Taylor very happy. This is a very expensive power play. Get through the power play with 6 to 8 runs. And look at this. Couple of men, the captain himself being one of the ones going after it. This is very, very close, by the way. But he just does get across the line, Unmukchand. And Unmukchand, will be at the non-strikers end to start this post-power play over, as they call it, the consolidation phase of the innings. Got through the launch phase, 6 to 8 runs scored in the launch phase. Scoring rate of 11.33 and 1 wicket. So that is an excellent, excellent job. During the launch phase, you certainly want to make sure that happens.
You should not be allowed to use space terms, considering we were supposed to go to NASA yesterday. And Mr. Brian Walters decided to bail out on that, especially being in Houston. Space City, from what I'm being told.
Prairie View.
It's like, you know, when people in Toronto say Toronto for all of Greater Toronto area.
This is true. This is true. Janoy Drysdale back into the attack to bowl over number 7. Bowled 1 over so far. Saw him bowl over in number 2. That over went for 12 runs. He'll be looking for something a little bit more frugal than that.
Brian, you were a tall left arm pace bowler. How did you manage fitness back in the day?
Not very well. I will say this. After this ball, I'll say more. Playing in the Houston area, as this is an overthrow, but won't cost them any runs. Playing in the Houston area, in the summer leagues, and at the time we played 40 over matches. Imagine the air temperature around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 36, 30, whatever that is, 38 Celsius. Humidity, no less than 90. And that is just standard for Houston in the summer. So you can be as hydrated as you want. If you're going to bowl, for example, an 8-over spell, and my spells would have been 8 overs, by the time you got to over 6, over 7, you are gasping for air. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. Up and over extra cover. Unmukchand has played that shot a couple of times. This one not quite getting, doesn't have the legs to get to the boundary, but he's really looking good here. 46 from 21.
It is the humidity, isn't it, that really gets you as a player out in the middle, especially for some of the longer formats. And mind you, I shouldn't say just longer formats, because T20 cricket is just so much more intense. Mm-hmm. And so the overall intensity level then makes you work a lot harder than you would in a 40-over game, but in a shorter span of time.
Yep.
I was recently in Thailand covering the Asia Cup, and it was 100% humidity there.
Mm-hmm.
Poor delivery, and he will get away with it. I'm very surprised that wasn't given a wide.
Yeah, that seemed to be down the leg side. And look at Unmukchand. He's equally surprised. Let's see where this goes. Oh my goodness, this has to be a wide, hasn't it? Well, they did review or change that regulation with the ball down the leg side. You could good. I do see why Unmukchand is a little bit perturbed here. In the air, straight down the throat of Obaspinar. Manali Patel, what did I tell you?
This is a massive wicket. Atlanta Fire needed this wicket. Unmukchand cruising to try and get to his half century. He falls 4 runs short this time. Again, a big flash outside the off stump and a safe pair of hands in Obaspinar to complete that dismissal.
So I told you last over that you jinxed him. Because he said, oh, he's about to get to 50. Unmukchand will be searching for you at the end of this game, because I think at least part of the credit for that wicket goes to the great Manali Patel.
Gone for 46, 6.5 overs done, 71 for 2.
Obaspinar, you mentioned, has a great pair of hands. In the Houston Open, I'm going to estimate that it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. The bowler who was bowling the 20th over in the first innings of a match took a hat trick. The hat trick was all catches by Obaspinar on the boundary. The third of the catches was him leaping over the ropes to catch one in the air, throw it back in, and complete the catch himself. So he has a brilliant, brilliant set of hands. And if you hit it in the air anywhere in the same zip code as Obaspinar, you'll do that at your peril. So the new batter is in. It's going to be Neil Narvekar. Take a look at this replay again. Struck in the air, Obaspinar, given the hands that he has and the skill level that he has, that catch there would not in any way present much of a challenge for him. Neil Narvekar, saw him bat earlier. Ritu Behera 10 from 8, and now Neil Narvekar he's one on strike for this last ball of over number 7.
I know we were talking about fitness as a fast bowler, but fitness overall, especially when you tournament like this, it's 6 days of back-to-back action. You might be lucky to get a day off here and there, but a lot of it, half a shout, and it's a dot to end the 7th over. 71 for 2. A lot of tournaments like this where you've got back-to-back action, you've got to work on pacing yourself to be able to get through all 6 days of games. And the other issue is, especially as pace bowlers, is potential injuries, because it's the humidity, it's the heat, dehydration, and the sheer amount of workload. And I think a lot of times those who are fit will fare, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, most times those who are fit will fare a lot better than the ones who are unfit towards the later part of a tournament.
I think that's a fair assessment. You've seen players who are not accustomed to playing in the Houston area come in and suffer from cramps, suffer from heat exhaustion, suffer from pulled muscles, because it really is a different kettle of fish playing in this part of the country. We're probably from here 100 miles from the Gulf Coast, very humid, and even though air temperature wise it's not that hot today, maybe low 80s, high 70s, but it's still very, very difficult. Stephen Taylor, the man taking the ball himself. Power hitting left-hander, but bowls right arm orthodox, and he generally bowls very well in this stage of the innings.
Well, I think the other issue is also when we are now predominantly playing the shorter formats between the 50 and the 20 over, a lot of our players are not preparing for longer format games. So we're not preparing to play 4 over, 5 over games. Or I should say, not overs, but days, 4-day, 5-day games, so that fitness that you then train using those methods are not relevant to consistent gameplay back to back to back. Because a lot of your training then is concentrated on the shorter format, high intensity workouts, interval workouts. And so it's almost counterproductive how you're preparing yourself for optimal performance in game, but then you come to tournaments like this and you're definitely not prepared for the longer format.
So you would have played multi-game or multi-day games throughout your long career. Mostly 50. But talk about the difference between, for example, playing a 50-over match and a T20 match.
I think a lot of it just comes down to how you build endurance. You don't need nearly as much endurance when you're playing a 20-over game than you would a 50-over game. I still do believe, though, the intensity is not quite... It's something that you're going to have to prepare for regardless of which format you're playing. And that's because cricket is all about those short bursts of intense moments, whether you're sprinting as a batter, whether you're coming in bowling, sprinting as a fast bowler, or even if you're in the field. And again, it's a quick sprint to field a ball. That's what cricket is all about. So it's all about how well you can recover from those short bursts of energy. End of the 8th, 75 for 2. 50 over cricket, you're going to need more endurance to be able to do that repetitively.
Unmukchand failed to reach his 50, but he had some really good shots. Couple that went the distance. That for me was the best of all the sixes. That was also a really impressive one down the ground, and he really took to the bowling of Kamil Rabbi and really just looked the part. Unfortunately for him, falling short of that 50, the catch taken in the deep by Obaspinar, and he will be probably very, very irritated at one Manali Patel after he watches the highlights of this entire match, knowing that she at least had a part to play in his dismissal.
That is so unfair to say.
Oldest rule in cricket, the jinx never fails.
I didn't jinx him in the first game at all, and he still got out in 45. He did one run better this, a 46.
Back to Kamil Rabbi. Starts out better here. So I will say this. In fact, the last time this happened, Obaspinar was the one who took the catch. It was the major league or minor league playoffs last year. My partner Joe in the West Coast said, "Oh, Unmukchand is about to get to 50," and I looked at him in the commentator's booth and he's like, "Well, oh my God, you got to be kidding me! Straight to Obaspinar for a catch." It always works.
It sounds like an Unmukchand problem. It's the only common element in this entire story.
No, in fact, Unmukchand was in the field. I forget who the batter was, but he was about to get to 50, and he was stopped very much by the commentator's curse and the jinx all at once. So the slowing rate has slowed down a lot, Manali Patel. What do you do as a batting side to recreate some of that energy that you had with the bat earlier on?
Well, that tends to happen when you lose a couple of wickets. You've just lost your set batter. 20 over game, unlike the 12 over game we had in the first one, you've got time. You've got to rebuild, get a bit of a partnership going. Plenty of batting to come still, plenty of overs to come still. As long as you continue to rotate that strike and you can put away the bad ball, I think you're still in a good place right now. Not even at the halfway point yet. And even in T20 cricket, yes, you're absolutely building an innings.
But credit to the bowlers. They have brought things back tremendously. I think in the first couple of overs, you had 31 runs on the board from the first two. You would have been thinking, oh my goodness, that we're going to give up 200 runs here. But they've really done well to pull things back.
I think it's a lack of pace as well that's really working for the bowlers right now. Not a lot of express pace on that ball. It's making the batters work hard to generate that power off the bat.
Gotta be wide, right? No, the umpire down. Oh, there is the signal. In fact, it was wide on both line as well as height. Bouncing well over the top of Neil Narveka.
Not the tallest of men.
No, he's not.
And very comfortably over the head.
Mm-hmm. Now, the short ball, obviously, based on the evidence seen in that shot, unnerved him a little bit. That was a wild hoik, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what an excellent over this has been. Just one leg by. Coming off the over. 9 overs gone, 76 for 2. And now pressure starting to build, especially on the skipper.
Oh. In fact, one ball remaining. In fact, I had it myself, one ball remaining. I should have trusted myself more. Last ball.
That is
skied. Who wants it? Albus Pinar does, and he takes it as easy as you like. Last ball of over number 9 results in the 3rd wicket. That is the end of Neil Narveka. End of over number 9, 76 for 3.
Yeah, the score off by 1 delivery because of the wide that was bowled.
Mm-hmm.
So we will try and get that corrected with the wide. However, this is going to be a wicket off the last delivery of what has been an excellent over. Looking to pull it into the leg side, didn't have the distance. And again, it's because of that lack of pace on the ball. Albus Pinar will pick up his 2nd catch of the game. Just pegging away here, Atlanta Fire, at the momentum that the Royals built up early on.
One other thing about that delivery, excuse me, it actually moved off of the seam away from the left-hander. So the angle over the wicket, slanting it across the left-hander, that's difficult enough to pull to the leg side. But then after it pitches and moves even further away off the seam, that meant that the ball got nowhere near the middle of the bat. And a pretty straightforward catch taken in the deep. Once again, Albus Pinar does not need any help to make those catches. And that is the end. Look at this again. Look, after it pitches, it leaves the left-hander there, almost like an off break. It's certainly a way movement after it pitches. And from that standpoint, it makes it very difficult for you to get any power whatsoever in the shot. So, good piece of bowling. Kamral Rabbi, 3rd over finished, bowled. He bowled over number 4. That went an expensive one for 6 rather. His 6th over, his 2nd went for 20, but does really well here coming back into the attack. Over number 9 only goes for 2 runs. One was a wide and one was a bye, make that a leg bye. And he ends up taking a wicket. So really, really good stuff from him. Jaskaran Malhotra is the new batter. And Rituk Behera, who's been at the crease for a while, 12 from 15, will be looking to see whether or not he can shut down what is really some good momentum being built here now by the Atlanta Fire. Back to Emilio Aponso. Down the leg side, should be at least a couple of runs, I think. Janoy Drysdale after it. Take a look to see whether or not this tickled anything on the way through. Yep, off the bat apparently. So a couple of runs to start over number 10. Rituk Behera 14 from 16. Jaskaran Malhotra, the new batter at the non-strikers end. Jaskaran Malhotra, capable of big hitting. And every time I commentate on a match involving Jaskaran Malhotra, I am obligated to remind the listening audience that Jaskaran Malhotra is one of a handful of men to ever hit 6 sixes in an international over in a cricket match. Did that in, I believe, 2021, if memory serves correctly, against Papua New Guinea. I stand to be corrected in any of all of that, but the big picture there is that he does have the capability of hitting big. Off the back foot, working it into the leg side. So the scorecard is a little bit all over the place. We assume that the actual score right now is 80 for 3. 3 balls remaining in over number 10. Rituk Behera 14 from 17. Jaskar and Malhotra 1 from 1. Played just down the ground. And scoring rate, which was up around 12 for a long time, has come all the way down to 8.38 after that single. A projection there is 168. So you're increasing a bit of the pressure because immediately you've increased the number of fielders close to the bat. Don't think that you'd always see that with Jaskar and Malhotra, but he's new to the crease. Stephen Taylor putting himself in at first slip. Reverse sweep. Oh, you have got to be kidding. What a catch by Stephen Taylor. The reverse sweep, and somehow the captain plucks it out of thin air. Wicket number 4.
The reverse sweep. Again. And I must say, this is not the best of shot selections, knowing that there is a slip in place. Stephen Taylor, what a great catch this is. Diving to his right, one-handed, and just sticks in that right hand. Excellent work behind the stumps. And that's going to be yet another wicket. The 4th one down. And in a bit of trouble here. The Royals, 80 for 4 after 9.5.
I take you back 2 years and about 250 miles. USA versus Pakistan, World Cup 2024. Stephen Taylor takes a catch identical to that one at slip. He is a brilliant slip fielder. In his younger days, he was a wicket-keeper batter, so you know he has good hands. But my goodness, such a brilliant piece of fielding by Stephen Taylor.
I'm just not sure why that was the choice of shot, knowing that you've got a fielder there, knowing that you've got protection. I'm sure he was hoping to get a wider of the fielder, but again, you're taking the risk knowing very well that the fielder is right there. Again, I'm not saying I've got anything against the reverse sweep. All I'm saying is the execution has to be better.
Another question to be asked is, you faced one delivery. Is the second delivery that you're facing the one that you want to break out the reverse sweep on?
So now, can I blame that wicket on you?
Why would you? How would you blame that on me?
6 sixes.
Oh no, that had nothing to do with this game.
Sixes
That had nothing to do with this game.
In an over. Outstanding fielding this though. Absolutely outstanding. And the awareness was exactly what really got me, because you could see he was watching the batter move early.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Single to close things out, anticlimactically, but a good second over ball by Miller Panza. Look at this again, working it into the leg side. A more accurate throw here, a lower throw, and that might have been a dismissal.
Had he got the stumps in the first go there,
he's gone by a yard. Look at this here. If he is able to disturb the stumps there, he just completely misses it, doesn't he, Emilio Ponzo? And he's appealing after the fact. The second swipe is the one that was unsuccessful. Had he been able to do it on the first swipe, that would have been the second wicket in the over. Halfway through the innings, the scorecard says 81 for 4.
It is halfway point. I'm just waiting to see if they might be taking a drinks break. Doesn't look like they will be.
It took a mini break at the end of the 9th over, so maybe that would have been the innings, or the break for the innings. So 81 for 4. Ravi Inder Singh and Rituk Behera are your batters. Shadley Van Skokvik to bowl his third over. 2 overs in the books for Shadley Van Skalkvik. First over went for 7. His second over went for 4, and he took a wicket. So he's done what he's... In fact, it's not going to be Shadley Van Skalkvik. They've made a change. It's going to be Kamal Rabbi. So the second half of the innings, first half of the innings, you've gotten through after very first start. Look at this again, replay again. Stephen Taylor, just such a brilliant piece of work. That little casual flip behind the stumps. I told you I was in Grand Cayman covering a tournament a couple of weeks ago. The scorer who was in action working with us here in the commentary booth was Stephen Taylor's father. And I never really realized that until he started talking and said, "Where are you from?" "The U.S. "Oh, my son plays for the U.S. "Who is your son?" "Stephen Taylor." "Oh my." That was kind of interesting. But in any event, we are now into an interesting period of this match because you're in sort of halfway consolidation mode, but you're also starting to look now toward regaining some of the momentum that you lost in the first part of this innings. 82 runs on the board. You are 58 deliveries away from this innings being finished. So 4 wickets down at the end of this over. We'll take a look at each of the wickets, but by goodness, I'm telling you that things have gotten a little bit tricky here because once again, you're in a very weird place where you're going to have to start pushing on to get something more positive. You don't ever want to start falling behind on the run rate. My fear, if you are the Baltimore Royals, is that you're starting to fall behind momentum-wise. Wickets pretty much always do that. Now, it's going to be up to you to find a way to mix caution with aggression. You don't want to lose any more wickets, but you do need to start pushing back towards getting a challenging total.
And talk about those wickets as well and the succession that they've fallen in. As this is pulled away, just haven't been able to find the boundaries. This phase is going to be a lot of rotation of strike as they rebuild another partnership.
That certainly would be the idea at this stage, isn't it? Because you don't want to lose any more wickets. You want to have 2 set batters going into the acceleration phase of the innings. And to whatever extent you can, you need to start doing that. You're also going to need to bear in mind that you have a bowler like Shadley Van Skalkvik who still has 2 overs to go, who's going to be wanting to help limit the scoring at the end of the innings. And so you're going to have to negotiate a way to get through his overs.
Just rolling his fingers across that delivery. Kamrul Rabbi, he's been effective so far. 29 for 1, delivery to go in his 4th over to finish his spell. Now that's going to be wide. He will need to re-bowl that one. We spoke about that humidity factor, and it's just starting to rise as this day goes on. A lot of that cloud cover is dissipated as well. The wind has also died down, which makes it a little bit warmer than you want it to be out in the middle. Another single, and that will then close his spell. 4 overs, 31 for 1. Excellent work with the ball. 11 overs gone. It's 86 for 4.
So we'll take a look at the wickets that have fallen so far. First, straightforward catch, cut to backward point. This one, full credit to Monali Patel for that wicket in the deep. Third, pulled away into the deep, another catch by Obaspinar. And then this, the brilliant work by Stephen Taylor to get rid of Jaskaran Malhotra. So you're not necessarily in trouble if you are the Baltimore Royals, but you have lost a tremendous amount of momentum. And you do have some work to do. Unmukchand leading the charge at the top there, 46 from 23, strike rate of 200. But on balance, you like where you are right now if you're Atlanta. You pull things back, and bearing in mind the Atlanta Fire has a tremendously strong batting lineup, so they have the ability to overhaul even challenging targets with their batting. Stephen Taylor back into the attack. Oh goodness, struck right through the fielder, short extra cover.
Great work in the field there, saving a couple runs. As Stephen Taylor brings himself back into the attack.
Wow.
That's the sort of fielding effort that you want to see.
Oh my goodness.
To help back your bowlers. They've been very tidy though in the field all in all. They've held on to their catches as well, Atlanta Fire. He's just going to hold off on that appeal. He was tempted, thought about it, and then he said, I'm going to conserve some energy.
Yeah, completely. Stephen Taylor, a much better bowler than I think he's recognized for. Always very accurate during the power play, when he bowls during the power play. And then this stage of the innings, particularly to the left-hander, can be very difficult to get away.
I think that is great to see from a spinner's perspective is how quickly he gets through his over. Doesn't give much time for the batter to settle down. But take a look at the fall of wickets. Losing 3 wickets between 71, 76, and 80 runs. And when you lose wickets in quick succession like that, it makes it very difficult to then rebuild as a batting side.
Yep.
I've got to give credit to Atlanta Fire for that. The bowling has completely dried up the boundaries. And once that pressure starts to build, the batters then are forced into making mistakes to try and score some runs. Fired in this time, and they will come across for a quick single. Just 3 runs coming off the over. 12 overs gone, 89 for 4.
In and out for 4. You've probably heard this before. If you want to estimate the score of the first innings of a T20 match, double the score after 12 overs. If you did that here, a projection would be 178. Do you think 178 is above or below where they'll end up?
At the moment, it looks like they're going to fall short of that. Just haven't been able to find the boundaries enough for that. Mind you, 12 over point, if they can hold on to their wickets for the next 2 to 3 overs, leaves them with good 3.5, 4 overs towards the end to be able to attack the bowling. It's the spinners that have been very effective, and the slower pace bowlers of Atlanta Fire.
Good looking shot, struck down the ground, but can't beat the fielder long off. So the spinners, as you mentioned, have done really good work. And to the extent that you want to keep the momentum going in such a way that allows you to pull the game back. They've certainly done that. Not very much in the way of partnerships that have been formed so far. Very first partnership went for 46, but since then the partnerships have been 25, 5, and 4. So that has slowed you down tremendously. And you've gotten out to the stage where going into the last part of over number 13, you only have, well, I say only. There's 91 runs on the board is a decent target, but the way you started out, you'd have thought you'd have had much more than that by now.
There's still plenty of time as well, and plenty of wickets in hand. So they've definitely got time to continue this building of innings. And the good thing is that they're still able to get 3 to 4 runs every over. Ideally, you want to still aim for a minimum of 6 to 7 runs an over, but keeping it ticking along.
Great delivery here. Fire it in flat and straight. Middle ponzo.
So you're from Austin.
I live in Austin, yes.
13 overs gone, 93 for 4. What is Austin called? City of what?
Capital city.
Capital city?
Yes.
But you're not a capital.
Austin is the capital of Texas.
All right, but not the country. So shouldn't Washington, D.C. then be called capital?
It is actually called the capital city.
Oh, so
because D.C. is weird, because D.C. is both a city effectively and a state.
right.
But all the other states have a city that is recognized as the capital of that state.
It's kind of boring though, isn't it? Capital city? I just thought, Space City in comparison sounds
I mean, what else would
a
you
lot
call
cooler.
it? if you were to live here, yes, that would be a lot cooler. But it's the capital city, so you have to call it that.
What is Austin known for?
Live music, University of Texas, and food. And not necessarily in that order.
Music, and they have some hills? Is that what I'm hearing? Our director telling us music and hills. Are there a lot of hills there in Austin?
Austin is the western part of what you call, the eastern border of what you call the hill country in Texas. You go east of Austin, then you get to the flatter part of the state, which is where Houston is. But Austin itself is very, very hilly. And then you go further west than Austin, then you really get among the hills. No big mountains as such, but there's certainly a lot of hills.
I'm ticking along here with the singles. The Royals. So do you go hiking there? I would assume with the hills there'd be some incredible hikes there.
There are brilliant places in the Austin area.
Sorry, that was a terrible question.
I am not the one who does it.
I was going to say that's a really terrible question on my part, because I remember I asked you to go for a walk with me yesterday, and you said, I don't walk.
I have a limited amount of energy that I can give from one day to the next. Manala Patel at 58 not out. I take the time that I need to get from point A to point B, and not much more than that.
Oh, you're missing out. I would love to be around hills where, you can experience beautiful mountains and go on nice hikes. Stephen Taylor, he's been pretty tidy throughout. And this is a rare boundary off his bowling. Picked up well and in the gap, and they needed this boundary quite desperately. It is also going to bring up the 100. The Royals, they continue to tick along here as they rebuild this partnership.
Good delivery. Big swipe and a miss. Rituk Behera not able to get anything on that. Luckily for him, he kept that back foot in the crease. You see on the replay again. Just powered away into the deep, and a conventional sweep. Interesting things happen when you break out the conventional sweep. That is the end of what you call the consolidation phase. Nala Patel got through the consolidation phase, scoring 4 runs and over. That feels undercooked. Remember, they got through the launch phase, the power play, at 6 to 8 runs at the rate of 11.3 and over. So they've slowed down tremendously in the last several overs.
But I do still believe with 6 overs to come and they've held on to wickets, they're starting to build a partnership between these two. They now have, they still got a couple more overs before they can really try and attack the bowling.
So who do you attack? Janoy Drysdale is about to bowl. Stephen Taylor, 3 overs, none for 13. Shadley Van Skalkvik still has 2 in his back pocket. Who do you attack?
They've all bowled very well, but this is going to be an overthrow for 1 run. All the bowlers have been on the mark, but I would say it's the pacers for me. You've got to try and use some of that pace that the bowler's going to offer to try and take on. The spinners have been very hard to put away. We've seen most of the wickets coming off of spinners as well, the slower bowlers. Would have been in quite comfortably in the end, needed a better throw. Takes the pace off again. And this is what they've been so good at, even the pace bowlers, variations of that pace.
Drysdale, when he gets it right, very similar in the first game to Esan Adil. Similar height, around 6'4", 6'5", but Drysdale is more powerfully built, and he can bend his back and get more out of the pitch. So he is adding that different element. Goes pace off again. Get 1 down the ground.
Between the pace off deliveries and the length that they've targeted, it's been very hard for the batters to actually get the ball away. This one again, the length is spot on.
So you've gotten yourself in a really good position here. How much? Oh, whipped away behind square. Good diving stop at deep fine leg. Couple more runs here. Oh boy. You've essentially gotten yourself in a decent enough position. You don't, in fact, take a look at this in the replay again. Look at the strong shoulders, powerful delivery, but then that one was a little bit too straight going down the leg side. So maybe we'll have a look at that again. Go in the same direction again, and this one, he'll get more out of it. And in fact, goes all the way for 6. So he was always flirting with fire, going down the leg side, pays the price here.
You had to target one of the bowlers, and it had to be your pacers. Got the pace off the delivery. And again, there the length just allowed for the batter to be able to get under it and put it away. A rare poor delivery. Still feel like Atlanta Fire is not going to mind that too much. They would feel like they're in the driving seat at the moment.
Down the ground again. Nobody there, and it goes all the way for another 4. But you called it, Manali Patel. You said attack the pace bowler. That's what they've done here. Good effort by Rituk Behera and Ravinder Singh. 21 from 16 and 27 from 33 respectively. End of over number 15, 114 for 4.
That was a great shot. Lots of control. Just waited on the delivery and didn't overhit it as it was placed down the ground. Looks like they're going to be continuing with Stephen Taylor. Pace off. Consistency with that spin, and he has been effective. Just the 1 boundary coming off of his bowling so far.
Stephen Taylor has 1. This is the last over. In the air and gone. George Drysdale with the simplest of catches to fine leg. That is the end of Rituk Behera. 27 from 33. The slow bowling continues to wreak havoc, and it is 1-1-4 for 5.
Again, having to generate the pace, but also having to use the crease to try and create run-scoring opportunities. This time, Ritik Behera going inside the line of the delivery and in no real control of the shot. Looking to go leg side, ended up on the offside, and a well-judged catch to pick up the 5th wicket. It's 114 for 5, and Atlanta Fire in the driving seat.
I don't think that there is any doubt that Atlanta's in the driving seat. For me, they've been in the driving seat for around the last 10 or so overs. Very fast starts. And speaking of slow bowling, the slow bowling has done the job. Stephen Taylor is in his last over. Milo Panso has 1 remaining. There is a man in the field who is an excellent left-arm orthodox slow bowler who is not yet bowled. Former UAE captain Zishan Maksud, which is surprising to me that he has not yet gotten a bowl. Ziaul Haq is the batter who is now at the crease, joining Ravinder Singh. Take a look at this again. Yeah, could have done more with that. He would have wanted to have done more with that, Ritik Behera. Stephen Taylor into his last over, and he will now be bowling to Ziaul Haq, who again can hit big going down toward the back end of the innings. Stephen Taylor is working wonders here in his spell. Relatively, let's call it an unorthodox approach to that first delivery. Outside edge goes past Shadley Van Skalkvik at slip. Got a couple of runs down to deep third, but my goodness, that was almost another catch.
Now, if only Stephen Taylor was bowling and in slip, because that would have been a fantastic take.
Wow. Let's take a look at that again. Top left of your screen, that's Shadley Van Skalkvik at slip. Maybe after this ball, we'll take a look at that replay. Where is that gone? Landing in no man's land. They'll get a single. They'll always just end up with a single there because I believe that Ravinder Singh wants to be the one on strike. Let's see if we can get, maybe after this delivery, take another look at that edge that went past slip. Looking to force this one again away, not able to get anything on it. Here's that replay. Oh, was leaning the wrong direction, wasn't he? He was expecting the ball to go to his right. Shadley Van Skalkvik ended up going to his left. This is going to be a single to end over number 16 to end a brilliant spell by Stephen Taylor. Excellent stuff. 4 overs, 1 for 17, and he is a very large part of the reason why the Atlanta Fire has wrested control of this game. End of 16, 118 for 5.
You think you're getting pretty close to that point in the game and point in the innings where you're going to have to start attacking this bowling. Last 3 overs, try and cross at least over 150.
4 overs.
No, I'm saying to get it to the last 3 overs.
Okay, gotcha.
Take 1 more over.
Okay, gotcha.
To keep your wickets in hand, and then the last 3 overs, try and attack this bowling. I mean, you don't have much of a choice in those last 3 overs. It's that middle period where they lost wickets in quick succession that they haven't been able to recover from. And Manhattan tells a real story of the strike rate for most of these batters. That run rate is very, very low through and through.
Shadley Van Skalkvik, leading bowler, not just for the US, but for much of the planet in the World Cup. Has 2 overs remaining. You'd think he'd bowl 17 and 19. Ravinder Singh on strike. leg side here. Let's see, nothing, in fact, no reaction whatsoever. So maybe I'll clip something on the way through. Shadley Van Skalkvik, very athletic, huge workout fanatic. I have that in common with the person seated to my right. Tell you what, your wry laugh right there, Manala Patel, tells me that you agree with me.
Listen, my logic is the only thing that's really yours is your body. You might as well take care of it because you've only got one.
Fair enough. I will say it's easier for those of us who have not been on the planet as long as others to be taking care of your body.
You know, that is exactly why I do, though. So hopefully it just helps make the years to come a little bit easier.
Skied, catchable, and taken. Tell you what, going down the leg side, Shadley Van Skalkvik will bowl many better balls than that don't take wickets. Easily could have been put away, but Ziaul Haq only ends up finding deep backward square leg, wicket number 6.
Continuing to dig themselves into a hole here, the Royals. They needed these wickets in hand to be able to attack the bowling in the latter part of this innings. Unfortunately, that's straight into the hands. I believe that was Mila Aponzo in the deep. We'll just wait to confirm that. Zia walking back as another one goes down for the Royals.
The wickets are falling with shocking regularity here. So the very first partnership was 46. Second wicket partnership 25. Third wicket partnership 5. Fourth wicket partnership 4. Fifth wicket they tried to fight back a little bit. That wicket the partnership was worth 34, but then only adding 5 for the 6th. So not much momentum being generated. Shadley Van Skalkvik doing what he does best, take wickets. New batters in. Slower delivery, well bowled. Run out opportunity, that's a direct hit. And umpire McVin Frederick says no. But boy, this is really sharp stuff. And at Nitish Sodini himself, take a look at this. Good athletic work. And that's as close as you can ever hope without it being dismissed. If there were the third umpire in play, he would have wanted to have taken a look at that, but give him credit for the single for now. So back to you, Ravinder Singh. Amshad De Silva, the non-striker. Slower bouncer, another good delivery. Shadley Van Skalkvik does this so well.
Completely beaten. He
Yes.
was through the shot well before the ball reached him. The change of pace and the variations from the bowlers has been quite entertaining to watch.
You're seeing one of the best do it here. Pace on this time, lofted, short fine leg, drops it. Boy, he made it a lot more exciting than it needed to be. Manali Patel, your thoughts on Zishan Maksud putting that one down?
Oh, never really looked comfortable, did he? 17 overs gone, 123 for 6. I think he spun around a couple of times as well, trying to get under it, trying to find it. Unfortunately, just never got settled under it. And that's going to be the chance of a wicket gone down. Atlanta Fire won't be too bothered. Tell you what, though, from a bowler's perspective, that is a wicket that could have been taken. Never nice for the bowler to create the opportunity and not have it taken by your fielders.
Yeah, Shadley Van Skalkvik will want that one to have been taken. The opportunity certainly was there. Take a look at this again. Really just didn't really ever judge it well, did he? And that despairing dive at the end, not successful. In fact, it might be his pedigree where that despairing dive actually made him come close to catching that, because he didn't really judge it very well.
Does he live
Janoy Drysdale, his last over. Slower delivery, worked into the leg side for a single. Drysdale has moved around a little bit. First over came from this end, the southern end of the ground, the highway end. Second and third overs were from the forest end, the northern end. Now back to the highway end to finish his spell. 3.1 overs, 1 for 31. So he's been a little bit more expensive than he would have liked. His first over went for 12. Second over was a really good one. Took a wicket, only conceded 3 runs. And he has taken a wicket here, has he? Yes, he has. That's the second catch taken in the innings by Nitish Sodini, wicket number 7.
If there's anything that the Atlanta Fire have exposed here is the weakness in this batting lineup of Baltimore Royals. In the first game, they got close because of a very good opening partnership. But in this game, without that opening partnership, they've just continued to lose wickets. No real stability in that middle order. And this is going to be the 7th wicket down. Atlanta Fire looking to close this innings on a high. And a lot of that momentum and that positivity is now going to continue into that second innings for Atlanta Fire as they come in to chase what should be a very low score for a T20 game. Drysdale's been quite effective. Change of pace, a lot of slower deliveries. And he'll be happy to have picked up his second wicket.
Well, once again, you have Aryan Batra and Ravi Inder Singh at the crease together. Similar build, similar. I'm not sure why exactly you're laughing, Manala Patel.
I'm not laughing.
You'll accept a single at this stage of the innings every single time. So this is really going well for you. 125 is, I think, around 40 or so runs short of where they would have expected to have been at this stage of the innings. And they've lost way more wickets than they would have wanted to.
Well, part of it is, yes, they've lost wickets, and yes, the bowling's been really good, but they've allowed for that pressure to continue building on them. They've allowed for the bowlers to get on top of them. It would have been nice to see a little bit more aggression, a little bit more intent from Baltimore Royals. They just haven't put the pressure back on the bowlers. We talk about intent a lot, and that can really change a game and swing momentum. Unfortunately, none of the batters, apart from Unmukchand, have actually shown any of it in this innings.
I think that is a fair assessment. Unmukchand, 46 from 23, strike rate of 200, but really not a lot to write home about other than him. Ravinder Singh, 28 from 23, he's still there, but single-digit scores and below 100 strike rate scores is what has dominated the scoreboard so far. So the last 2 balls coming up now in over number 18. The last one being bowled by Janoy Drysdale. And of all the things that you've done, I don't think that you'd be wanting to be in the position that you are. Good, quick Yorker, boy, outside edge found, 4 runs. good quick delivery, maybe a moral victory to the bowler, but 4 runs nonetheless.
Again, just not enough. They've still got 2 overs to come after this. They need a few more of this, even if they come in the form of more edges. Got to try and get close to that 150 mark to give something for their bowlers to come and defend.
150 feels like a stiff ask from here, but it's still certainly possible. 8 and over gets you to 150. Solid delivery to close out his spell, Janoy Drysdale. Excellent stuff, despite the boundary. 9 from his last over. End of over number 18. The score is 132 for 7.
At the end of this innings, and you'd think well short of what would be par score on the surface for the Royals. Atlanta Fire will be very happy with this effort with the ball.
It's interesting. Shadley Van Skalkvik is bowling his last over, the penultimate over of the innings. Slower delivery again. It brings to mind an interesting question. Who's going to bowl over number 20? Manali Patel wants to shake off the cobwebs and get in the field and bowl over number 20. But let's assume the rules don't allow for that.
I don't think I could give the game away at this point.
But Emilio Ponzo is the only one of the frontline bowlers who still has an over left. Do you bowl Emilio Ponzo in the 20th over, or do you give it to someone who has not yet bowled in this innings?
Emilio Ponzo is very, very experienced to not be trusted with that job. And he has bowled very well today. Economical, good control.
First over for 19. Big hit down the ground. And boy,
He's outside the ground.
umpire's gonna want to take a look at this. Let's see a replay on this. It appeared, at least to the naked eye, that he was out of the ground when he took this, or when he fielded this. Let's see.
I mean, I think he thought this might have been baseball. I'm not sure. Yeah, oh, that is 100% 4.
2 feet outside the rope. So they won't be able to do anything about it, but that, needless to say, should not have been 4. Or should have been 4.
Did they not signal the 4?
No,
Have I missed that?
No, they did not signal the 4.
Oh, well, you've got to feel very bad here for the Royals, because that is is not how we play cricket. That's for sure.
Now I'm with you on that one. The earlier one, maybe not, but this should not have been given. This should have been a 4. Yeah, that's as egregious a miss as you've seen in a while. Now, in fairness to the umpires, played into the outfield. The umpire is about 100 yards or so away. It would be difficult for them to make that call at that time. But to me, the onus is on the fielder to say, yeah, I was well over the rope on that one. That should be 4. The fielder should be signaling for himself at that stage.
Now, we do have access to cameras and replays. However, I don't know if it's something that they could use to help them make those decisions. So you've got to give credit to the umpires. They're seeing things from a distance, and and very quickly as this action does happen quite quickly. Very tough job for the umpires out in the middle. 19 overs gone. It's 140 for 7. Comes down to this final over. I tell you what, they're at 140. If they get to 150, it's something for their bowlers to be able to come out and defend.
It would be something. You want 150 more than you want 130. So from that perspective, you certainly built a little bit of momentum. 40 runs have come in the last 5 overs. So you've created some momentum for yourself. But if you are the 2 batters at the crease, you see the Manhattan there telling the story, those bungalows toward the back end, just making some effort to get over the 6 run, 7 run and over mark. But if you're these bowlers, a spinner is bowling over number 20. Oh my goodness, take him on, please. You have to be aggressive. You don't necessarily want to throw it away, but you have to tell you, I mean, it has to go. It has to travel here. Unmukchand. Down the leg side. That's not going to help. And so that's why I asked the question I asked earlier. Do you want... Shadley Van Skalkvik at deep fine leg, or deep square leg I should say. Very good fielder regardless of where he is on the field. So a single and a wide to start over number 20. So let's see what happens from these last 5 balls. That ever-present giant spider is making yet another entrance in the commentary area.
Very important deliveries coming up here, these 5. You've got to try and find the boundary at least a couple of times. And there's the reverse.
Gotta get 2, and I'll tell you why 2 is important here, because it's the left-hander facing the left arm orthodox of Unmukchand. So you fancy your chances better with the lefty on strike. So, Manali, there is a gigantic gap between mid-wicket and long on. How are we not aiming for that gap? As it's a quick delivery from Unmukchand for that. Over the top of cover for 6. That is some shots. 150 up.
And brings them to a bit of a fighting chance here. 150, a bit of scoreboard pressure with that as well. This is a poor delivery. Low full toss and hit very well. Not the easiest of shots to be able to hit over cover for 6. You've got to give credit to the skipper here. Ravinder Singh, 41 off 30. He's anchored this. 42 off 31 now. He's just brought his team into a respectable spot.
No question. This is huge. And again, against a really powerful Atlanta batting lineup, you don't know that 151 is enough, but you at least have the sense that the bowlers have something to aim at here. Last ball. Knocked him over, walked over too far, leg stump knocked back. But I don't think they'll mind that very much. They did put on that mythical advantage of getting over the 150 line. 151 for 8.
20 overs, 151 on the cards. They'll need to be going at a little bit over than 7.5 runs and over Atlanta Fire when they come back to chase this down. The batting card, well, apart from 2 batters getting in 40s between Unmukchand, 46 off 23, and Ravinder Singh, 42 off 31. The rest of them, not much to say. A start for Rithwik Behera, and unfortunately not much support from the other batters, and that's partly because of some really good bowling by Atlanta Fire. They managed 151 for 8. The bowling, on the other hand, plenty of wickets, and it's the economy rate that's helped pick up those wickets and keep this total down. 2 wickets each to Ponzo, to Drysdale and Skalkvik, and a wicket each to Kamral Patel and Stephen Taylor. Stephen Taylor excellent with that economy rate as well. Wickets continued to come in quick succession, and despite the effort from the skipper and Unmukchand, you'd feel they might still be about 10 to 15 runs short. It started well with Unmukchand, got a few lusty blows in nice and early, and he needed to anchor this innings. 360-degree player changed the opening partnership as well. Mohammad Khan opened, and fortunately for him, he fell very early as Unmukchand continued to strike the ball beautifully. 6 sixes in that innings as well, and he looked in total control until this moment right here. Very good catch in the deep. Gone for 46, Unmukchand. Neil Narvakar, the skipper, comes out to the middle along with Jaskran Malhotra after the wicket of Unmukchand. Unfortunately, from there on, it was tough going. Lost quick succession wickets between 71 for 2 to 76 for 3, 80 for 4, and eventually managed to find a few runs towards the back end of the innings. The bowling has been exceptional. A lot of change of pace, a lot of lack of pace as well. And you've got to give credit to the fielding effort as well. We've seen some exceptional catches, especially the one taken by Stephen Taylor at first slip. Ponzo does the cleanup with that final wicket. And a clinical performance with the ball for Atlanta Fire as they restrict to 151 runs the Baltimore Royals. When we come back, Atlanta Fire will need 152 runs in their 20 overs. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll have the chase.
Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex, field number 5. Stephen Taylor and Sagar Patel are your two openers. The man with the new ball in hand at the northern end of the ground. The forest end is Ziaul Haq. He's in the center of your screen as we speak. And this is a high-class matchup, one of the higher-class matchups that you'll see in this entire tournament. Stephen Taylor versus Ziaul Haq. Former USA stalwart versus former Pakistani first-class elite player. Both major leaguers. Stephen Taylor has recently played for the MI New York. And it is Ziaul Haq who is right up I-45 from here in Dallas with the Texas Super Kings. None of that matters right now. What matters is whether or not, excuse me, Stephen Taylor himself can help his team get off to a fast start to overhaul a target of 152, 152 needed off 120 balls at a rate of 7.6 and over. In theory, with a power pack batting lineup, it should not pose much trouble for them, but that's why you play the game. Stephen Taylor immediately off the mark with a single, as we will eventually welcome back to the commentary booth the great former Canadian and ICC all-round elite official. Can I call you official?
Just a master educator.
Master.
Definitely not an official. Don't really do anything with umpiring or refereeing. Just coaching.
Just coaching, she says. All she is a coach.
I do like that introduction, though.
Manali, where's your money in this game? And you demurred when I asked you about a win predictor earlier. I need a win predictor for you from now.
I'm going to say Atlanta Fire. And the reason I'm going to say that is they just are a more experienced and more well-rounded side between the two of these sides.
What a great delivery that one is. Now, earlier, Ziaul Haq had the new ball swinging, but it was much damper then. So the sheen wore off the new ball much more quickly. But right now, being a little bit dry, you're expecting the new ball to swing for a little bit longer. Left arm orthodox, swinging it into the right-handed batter. Short! And it is in the air, falling out of reach of everybody. That was a surprise delivery. I think Jasper and Malhotra's short fan leg was expecting for that to be a fuller delivery. So that short ball caught everybody by surprise.
Did not play that well enough at all, Sagar Patel. Beaten by pace, got way too close to him. And in no real control whatsoever. Seen a lot of batters get beaten for lack of pace this time.
That was actual pace.
For the extra bit of zip off the surface.
Yep. Great delivery. So he swings it away from the left-handed Stephen Taylor. Top right of look at this ball curling away. That is unplayable. Absolutely brilliant ball. Maybe you just look to see off Ziaul Haq and get your runs off the other bowlers.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? Early days, take a few deliveries, especially when you've got a bowler of this caliber coming at you. And it's just so easy on the eyes as well as he comes in through the crease. Smooth action, gets through the crease very quickly.
Oh, brilliant. Not given. Everybody thinks it was out. The one person whose opinion matters does not agree. Ziaul Haq, Unmukchand, everybody else is apoplectic, but it's just a very loud dot ball. End of over number 1, 2 without loss.
Well, there.
Oh my God.
They're appealing this, but I really don't think there is any deflection off the bat. Yes, there's movement on the ball, but I'm not really sure if he's actually managed to get anything on this. Not the most convincing appeal either.
I will say this for the appeal. Keeper and the two fielders behind the stumps all appeal at the same time. That to me tells me that they may have heard something. Now, could it have been the ball flicking the thigh pad? Maybe even the outside of the stumps, which sometimes happens. Well, let's see if we can pick anything up here. Ah, bat onto pad. That's what they heard. Look at the bats right there flicking off of his front pad. That would have been the noise. And that is a brilliant piece of umpiring. That is brilliant.
And brilliant piece of camera work.
That goes without saying.
Shout out to our camera crew.
If Hassan is on the production, the camera work will be excellent.
And our director being able to pull all of those clips. But so now, we just had that moment where, okay, the uncertainty between what noise was that. And again, we take a look at the helmet and that flap is not strapped in. And I don't understand, as a wicketkeeper, you've got your flap open, you know it's windy, and any bit of extra sound, we're right beside a highway here as well, just creates additional doubt for the... Into the leg side, should be a couple, actually, no, it's just the one run. Just creates that extra bit of doubt as to where that sound is coming from for the umpire then.
Could not agree with you more. You would think that there would be a regulation that would force him to buckle up that helmet. Now, going full attack here. Slip fielders, Jasker and Malhotra at slip. There is a short third. There is a point on the 30-yard circle. This ball leaving the left-handed Stephen Taylor. They're hoping to find the outside edge of his bat. Good bowling so far. Neil Narvekar is actually the bowler. My apologies that earlier I may have said Mohammed Khan. It's Neil Narvekar. Bowled well during the power play in the first innings of the first match. There goes Stephen Taylor. He does that well, but he does not get anywhere near the middle of it, and it is a catch to long off, make that first wicket down, 3 for 1.
Lack of pace and a nothing shot in the end. Just didn't get any power off the bat. A little bit of flight on offer as well. And a really well-taken catch in the deep. That's going to be the first one. It's a big one. It's the skipper who's going to have to walk back.
So in fairness, and this is me defending myself here, off of the bat, I said it's a good-looking shot. He does that well. Where we're sitting, I could not see that there's a fielder at long off. I don't think that that was a shot that he should have played with long off in position. That's just not a safe shot with that field. And he would have seen that fielder down long off, so you would know that he should not have played that shot with long off there. That's my defense of myself.
1.4 overs gone, 3 for 1. Plenty of batting to come though for this Atlanta Fire side. They won't be stressing. Again, only need just a little bit over 8 runs and over from here on. As long as they don't leave too much of it for the end, because we saw that in the first game where the Royals left too much in the end.
Talking about the batting power in this side. Obaspinar, you could argue, is the best batter, not just in the Atlanta Fire side, but in this game. You could make that argument. Unmukchand is the bowler, or the batter rather, the new batter. Play down the ground for a single. That is the end of over number 2. Successful one for the Baltimore Royals. Got rid of the skipper, Unmukchand, who is a national level player. Played in the World Cup a couple of months ago. Is teaming up now with Sagar Patel, and they will be tasked with taking the Atlanta Fire over the line. Another 148 runs to go. Scores 4-1. Sliced away to start over number 3. Second one being bowled here by Ziol-Haq. Unmukchand, one of the better players that you'll see in the country. Earlier I started saying that Obaspinar might be the best batter in this game. I was overlooking the fact that Unmukchand is in the side. He and Obaspinar, you would think, would be the ones relied on most heavily now in the absence of Stephen Taylor to take their team over the top. But a long way to go, but my goodness, we've seen a lot of expert bowling so far. And the bowling that you've seen, particularly from Ziol-Haq, first over went for 2, and for all money thought that he had Stephen Taylor with the last ball of the first over. Second over in this match went for 2 and the big wicket of Stephen Taylor. So, a long way to go, but any amount of things can happen the rest of the way. You want to make sure that you keep this pressure up. Keep doing exactly what you're doing right now. So making your way slowly through this power play, and I will make sure that I highlight the fact that this power play has gone the opposite of the way that the first power play did. At the end of the first 2 overs, the Baltimore Royals had 31 runs on the board. 2 deliveries into over number 3, still only 5 runs on the board here for the Atlanta Fire. Slower delivery. Played into the leg side. They may look for a couple here. No, they choose to not do so. So if you are looking upwards at a target of 152, you have another 146 to go. The required rate at the start of the innings was 7.6. You are right now scoring at the rate of 2.25 and over. 2.25 and over. It's like Christmas. 2.25 runs and over essentially has made the required rate go up to almost 8.5. So this game can get out of control if you're not careful. Short delivery, top edge, fine leg, running back, won't get it. But another sharp, short delivery from Ziol-Haq. Get a couple of runs, but it's the type of bowler Ziol-Haq who can realize that there's an opportunity to catch you off guard. If you're looking for the fuller ball, for him swinging it, then he pulls the length back and bowls that length. Look at this. Look where this pitch is. And just easily, really no control over that shot for the batter. And he would have had his heart in his mouth there, but he lives to fight another day. This is a better looking shot. Up and over, it's going to clear mid off. My goodness, that ball stops and just sticks in the dirt. Any other day that goes 1 bounce for 4. Only 2 runs to close out over number 3. 2 coming from that last ball rather. 11 for 1 after 3.
Oh, how unfortunate and frustrating as a batter when you hit it that well and it plugs into the ground like you're playing golf.
Exactly. Wow.
That does happen. We've got 3 inches of rain just a day and a half before this game. In fact, credit to the ground staff and the
my
organizers.
goodness, yes, we did not highlight that, and we should have. That is our fault. They have done a spectacular job. Lost the entirety of the play yesterday, but it's important to point out that it was not because of the pitch itself. The pitch was fine. The outfield was waterlogged.
And the other thing that's impressive is the pitch. You would not be able to tell. There's no moisture. There's no lingering moisture on there that would indicate any bit of rain over the last 2 days that we've had.
Completely accurate. So, Keshav Rava, left arm orthodox, saw him get taken to the cleaners earlier in the first game, but came back to take the big wicket of the batter who was assaulting him, a batter whose name escapes me this very second.
What do you make of his hair?
I'm the wrong person to ask about hair.
I mean,
Any hair is better than no hair for me. Sliced away, and it will clear backward point, close to the boundary.
Oh my word.
Did that go all the way to the rope? Did we have another situation like we had earlier? Let's take a look at this on the replay.
I think this looked pretty clean through and through. Just the 2 runs in my opinion, but we'll wait to see that replay. Ironically, the first part of his name, Keshav, means hair. And that's... I don't know if that's Hindi or Sanskrit or what it is, but I'm pretty sure Kesh means hair.
Very interesting.
And so Keshav is, I think, supposed to mean the one with hair.
So,
am I accurate?
if
maybe someone could shoot us a message and let us know if we're a bit accurate there or not.
if your name literally means with hair, then you have to grow your hair like this, don't you?
I mean, it is a religious name, though. It is one of the gods' names.
Okay.
But that is what it does indicate.
Sliced away again, over the top in the same direction. This will also get close to the boundary for another couple of runs.
I am really intrigued by how much the amount of allowance on the field has changed for the ball. I mean, it's not rolling to the boundary anymore. You can't hit it over. Whereas I do find in that first innings of the first game, the ball was traveling a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really experience a lot of dew this morning either. It was pretty good to go from the time that we arrived.
Which is surprising. You can almost always expect a lot of dew here in Houston, or in the Houston area. Not a clean pickup. So they're picking on the fielder at backward point here. That is Athar Vakashal. 3 deliveries from the 4 in this over have gone in that direction. I think we're going to have, after this delivery, I think we have a surprise from our director, the great Hassan.
Excellent delivery, just outside the edge. It's been a tidy over. The meaning of Keshav, prominent name of Lord Krishna, one with beautiful long hair. Turns out my Sanskrit isn't as bad as I thought it was. There you go.
I could not be any more impressed with that deep pull of knowledge from the great former Canadian stalwart Manala Patel.
The name signifies beauty, charm, and divine power. I think in this occasion we're just talking about the hair, but it's good to know that I was somewhat accurate there.
Wow.
4 overs gone, 17 for 1. So Brian, there is something that I usually tell my family. I'm rarely ever wrong. And there, right there, is a perfect example of what we've been talking about, that hair, luscious, full head of hair. Brian wouldn't really know what that means.
The bride,
Right there.
The bride
You wouldn't
of
quite know.
1978 would, just not this version. Do you know who Kid and Play are?
No.
You don't know? Oh my.
What year are we talking?
Middle 80s, late 80s.
Yes, I was born when again?
I won't tell your age. Okay, Kid and Play, famous duo, rap duo. One of them had a flat high top. High top was probably literally a foot high. I had a Kid and Play when I was in college.
Nice and tall.
Nice and tall.
You know what? There is do you know the cartoon Hey Arnold? There's a character with hair like that in it.
Amshida Silva into the attack. Gone! One delivery. That is the end of Sagar Patel, and it is the man with the hair who takes the catch right on cue. 17 for 2.
Excellent delivery to pick up another wicket. Almost gave the bait, and the bait was taken, and an outstanding catch. Keshav just at that backward point position makes it look very easy, and that's going to be yet another wicket.
Wow.
Atlanta Fire 17 for 2. I thought Atlanta Fire would have been a little bit more fluid with this run chase, given the experience that they do have in this side. They're just struggling a little bit with this bowling. Again, there is lack of pace on the surface. The bowlers are also making it very difficult by bowling in the right areas, and then the fielding has been quite outstanding. That catch made it look very easy, but it was traveling at some speed.
Yes, and to his left, but it helps that he's a left-hander, so that would have helped him catch that easily.
I thought you were going to say it helps that he's got some divine powers.
Well, that too. That divine, always on the side of the one with the divine powers. There's no question. Now, you've lost a couple of wickets, the captain being one, the second being Sagar Patel, but you have Sai Mukamal at the wicket. You still have Oba Spinar to come. Abdullah Malek, who is at the crease now, is a good batter. You have a Shadley Van Skokvik who can bat. My goodness, you have a former international cricket captain, Zishan Maksud, still to come. So there's loads of batting. I don't think the overall run rate is an issue. You just want to make sure that you don't lose any more wickets, at least not in bunches. It's left-handed Abdullah Malek, who's immediately off the mark.
I think for me, it's also that intent. Again, I'm going to speak about that because we saw the Royals struggle in that first innings because of that lack of intent. And what we don't want to see Atlanta Fire do is start in that path very early on, because they've yet to build a partnership like we saw in the first innings. Mm-hmm. We've now seen 2 early wickets with just 18 runs on the board, and that intent needs to come through. Now, mind you, we're talking about a very experienced batter in Saiteja Mukamala out in the middle, and someone who is known to be able to build an innings, known to be able to capitalize and go on to get bigger scores and bring their side home. So there is a lot of comfort, I'm sure, for his team, knowing that the likes of him are still out there.
It's interesting you mentioned that he's experienced, and he is in fact very experienced, but he's still a very young man. I'm going to guess his age is around 21, 22. Very, very young. You would think he would anchor the middle of the USA batting lineup for the next decade and a half or so. Different assignment here. He needs to be able to mix caution with aggression and get his team closer toward victory and make sure that that required rate does not get out of control. Down the leg side, catching opportunity. They're appealing. Umpire Myron James says no. Oh, let's take a look at this. They seem convinced with that appeal, Manali.
Well, they were so convinced that Amshi De Silva didn't even bother to look back. He
Correct.
thought that was a wicket. Very close to that pad, and I have a feeling it's taken that thigh pad on the way through to the keeper.
Let's give credit where credit is due. We don't have the technology to be able to confirm this, but it looks like it came off the pad. And assuming that it did, that is a brilliant piece of umpiring from Myron James.
It's one job I absolutely refuse to do.
Slower delivery, played back to the bowler. I, every once in a while, will show up and take a look at this again. Yeah, to me, that has passed the bat and is clipping the bottom of the thigh pad. A good piece of keeping, too.
A side angle would be really helpful.
Yes.
To be able to tell.
Exactly. I am a decent enough umpire to have umpired in tournaments like this one. It is a thankless job.
I didn't say I wouldn't be decent at it. I just said I wouldn't do it.
I stand corrected, Miss Manali Patel. My goodness. End of over number 5. Take a look at this again. See if we can see anything on going down the leg side here. This is excellent camera work. That is off of the batting pad, the top of the batting pad. That's what the noise was. Great camera work, great umpiring. Now, let's do a comparison. End of over number 5, 21 for 2, Atlanta Fire. The Baltimore Royals at the end of over number 5 were 48 for 1. This is amazing to me.
I see those tall Manhattans in the first 2 overs. That's what's missing so far. And we are getting nowhere close to the start that we had seen in the first innings from the Royals. And therefore, you're already behind on the rate. You're already 2 wickets down. So it's a lot of rebuilding here that the Atlanta Fire are going to have to do. And the last thing you want is for them to leave too much for the end. 5 overs in, though, you've got time to get a really good partnership going between these two. Just try and continue ticking along. What's really changed, though, is the lack of boundaries that we saw in that first innings early on. Oh dear, make that wicket number 3. Thick outside edge and a very well taken catch. It's Malhotra, Jaskaran Malhotra in first slip, and this is not going to help the cause for the Atlanta Fire. Excellent piece of bowling by the skipper. And the field was placed to perfection for this very moment right here.
Jaskaran Malhotra with a great catch. Not quite as spectacular as the one taken by Stephen Taylor in the first innings, but this is a similar type of catch in the sense that he was leaning one direction and then had to adjust because of the ball coming off of the edge.
And we'll try and see if we can get a look one more time at this delivery, because it's the length that was very key in this. He just pulled the batter nice and forward, dragged him out of that crease to get him to throw, and that turn off the surface to be able to throw that bat at it. No, I think that's
definitely safe,
safe catch in the fingertips, but in them nonetheless.
But if you see at the very end of that, he bobbled it, but then regained control of it. So it very easily could have slipped out, but he does well enough to keep it in the palm, bobbled it up in the air, but then eventually secures it. Now, here's somebody whose name we've not called a whole lot in this game. It is, I believe, in fact, we said his name plenty. That's Obus Pinar. My apologies. These eyes don't work as well as they
I was
used
a
to
little
Manali.
confused for a moment. I'm like, are you sure? He took a few catches in the first innings as well.
Okay, look at the very end of this. Look how he bobbles this. There. And then pops up in the air. But there, that effort to regain control of it. That is so expertly done.
Skipper, 1.2 overs. Figures of 2 for 2 in a T20. It doesn't get much better than that. Worked into the leg side, and he's off the mark, Obus Pinar, with a single. I think this partnership is going to be extremely key for Atlanta Fire. You've got 2 well-known batters with the ability to anchor the innings. We know Obus Pinar can also hit the long ball. But you feel like these two have got to try and get their side closer. Otherwise, it's going to be too much at the end.
I would not disagree with any of that. The one wild card for me is Unmukchand. And I say he's a wild card because he's a lefty. So that means that you will want to see when you bring him in, you'll see whether or not there is any effort to save one of the off spinners back for the lefty when he comes in. But then somebody like a Shadley Van Skalkvik who can come in and throw his bat at the end of the innings, he's somebody who also might figure in all of this. But there's no question that the Atlanta Fire are not quite starting out as well as they would have wanted to here.
Up and over through the offside, and again, that outfield just not helping the batters. It's going to be very clear here that either you find a way to get it over the rope, or you've got to try and run every single run as hard as you can. You're not going to get much assistance off the outfield.
Good bowling by Neil Nervarker. 1.5 overs, 2 for 6. So brilliant stuff from him.
Into the leg side, and that is exactly what we're talking about. If you're going to hit it, get it over the rope. And it is a maximum for Obis Pinar to end what has been a very good over.
2 straight. You want that ball to be more on the off stump line, and he swept this. Obis Pinar has shots all around the ground, and one of his favorite shots is that sweep shot that you just saw him play. Saw earlier, Unmukchand played that shot to very good effect. Obis Pinar no less accomplished a batter than Unmukchand. So here, look at this. Here the wickets again, straight down the ground. Stephen Taylor will want to have had that shot back. This here is hammered, but directly to the hair guy for a good sharp catch. And then wicket number 3, Jaskaran Malhotra doing his best Stephen Taylor impression to scoop that one up immediately, holding that finger aloft, being fielder and umpire at the same time. So we're interestingly poised here, Manali. End of the power play. Amsha De Silva back into the attack.
Hello, we see you. I think he's just trying to... No, definitely not trying to get our attention for the end of the power play.
No.
Not that important. Did you have a celebration that you did when you picked up wickets?
Oh my goodness, no. I was just glad that I could rest for a while before I had to bowl another one. Plus, when we played celebrations, that was not a thing back then. About our only celebrations was after the game, we got to listen to some music, have a little bit of curry goat, have a little bit of jerk chicken, and have a Heineken or 4, and that was what we did to celebrate. But during the game, nothing.
Aryan Batra into the attack.
And by the way, yes, I did say Amsha De Silva earlier. That was my mistake. This is, in fact, Aryan Batra. Did you have a celebration? I should ask you that.
Hang on, I've got a follow-up question. You didn't have a celebration necessarily, but I don't see you as being a very aggressive type of player. As in, like, in your face and... More runs. Obis Pinar is helping his team's cause at the moment. Been out there for a very short period of time, 1 maximum and now a boundary. Just helping release a lot of that pressure.
Just patted that around the corner, didn't he? Just very effectively, really helping it. Not a full-blooded pull shot, just more guiding it around the corner, and the man in the deep really had no chance. To go back to what you just asked me, in fact, let's look at the replay again. Look at this, no flourish, just helping it, and easily put away. The man coming around from square leg, really not getting anywhere near it. I was the smiling assassin. I was the kind who would run up, bowl a bouncer, hit you in the face, and then go check on you to see if you're okay. and maybe help you to the sideline if I needed to. But I was not. There is enough in life to be serious about. Playing a sport is not one of them, especially not as a weekend cricketer. You're everybody's best friend, even though if you're trying to knock their heads off. But you don't need to do it with any animosity. And which is one of the reasons why I do not like the confrontational aspect of fast bowling. That has never appealed to me in any way.
Who said it's just for fast bowlers?
There is no such thing as a confrontational spinner.
What?
Oh, like Shane Warren, the late great. There is nothing that irritates me more than a bowler who is let the ball do the talking. You don't need to do the talking.
I mean, forget batter bowler, doesn't matter. It's just, I still have people who don't like me from my playing days.
What, are you the in-your-face kind of a player?
100%.
Oh my goodness.
Sledging
I'm glad
in
I
your
met
face.
you after your playing days.
Swing and a miss, looking to cut that, and not managing to get any bat on that. Did sit up quite nicely as well for that shot. But you've gotten to know me. We've never played against each other, obviously. So I'm obviously a very pleasant person. But on
what
the
I
field,
just learned 10 seconds ago, all of a sudden I see you in a different light, Manala Patel.
you just have to understand that on the field is on the field and off the field is off the field.
Oh, lovely looking shots.
Glorious. Beats one fielder, won't beat the other though. I'm all for playing hard, and I know some of the people that I coach, I say to them as well, they're just, well, we're just making sure they're okay. And I'm like, yeah, you can do that after the game.
Love the shot there. Just a replay on that Obaspinar shot. Such an easy on the eyes type of player.
He's now missed that shot twice. Outside off stump, short delivery. A bit too close to be able to cut away, but he hasn't adjusted for that line. 7 overs gone, 36 for 3.
Allow me to do the comparison, Manali Patel. At the end of 7 overs, the Baltimore Royals were 71 for 2. They have just about doubled them up.
On par.
On par. How is that on par exactly? They literally have almost twice as, or they had almost twice as many runs as Atlanta Fire does right now.
But a lot of positives in the last over or so since Obaspinar's walked out. And so now if you are the Royals, you're thinking, I've got to try and pick up a wicket here quick. And even better if that is the wicket of Obaspinar, who's come in and struck a maximum, then a boundary, and he started to look threatening from the time that he's walked out.
I 100% agree with everything that you just said. To bring to bring the two teams together. When the Baltimore Royals batted, during their consolidation phase, they only scored 4 runs and over in 8 overs, from overs 7 to 14. Sarjit Lada into the attack.
No.
Manali Patel, you're going to disagree with that choice of shot.
No. Not disagreeing with that choice of shot, just hoping that if you're going to play it, you got to hit it better. And in this occasion, it was in the gap. There was no fielder, but again, not out of the middle.
This is an interesting matchup. Sarjit Lada versus Obaspinar. Boy, he reverse swept that from a ball going down the line of leg stump.
Turn off the surface. Excellent delivery. It's just gripped and ripped off that surface.
Wow.
Staff. Great name. We'll have to take a look at his shirt again.
Sarjit Staff.
Tries to go for the reverse again. Just too full for that shot on that occasion.
Yep. That's why I said Sarjit Staff. When you start running out of jerseys and the players start switching jerseys and support staff are walking around in normal clothes because the players have their shirts on. That's kind of like what happens in a tournament like this.
You know, the other thing I never did was share equipment or clothing.
Shocker.
I mean, I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing my gloves or my helmet or anything with you. My sweat is on there. I don't want your sweat on there. Just a hygiene thing, you know?
And you would not like what I'm about. In fact, I won't even bother saying it.
I think I know what you're about to say.
I'll withdraw it.
Thick outside edge and another single. We do have some leagues where I've seen guys share boxes, and I cannot tell you the number of issues that you could potentially cause with something like that from a hygiene perspective.
Exactly why I withdrew what I was about to say, because I played in a couple teams where they did that. Great first over by Sarvjit Ladda, just 4 runs coming from it. Excellent stuff, and because of the excellence of that over, the required rate is now over 9. End of over number 8, 40 for 3.
Got to give credit to the Royals here. They didn't have the best of first innings with the bat, but they've certainly come out and tried very hard to defend us and to defend us well. Their bowlers have been on the mark. And right there, as we take a look at this scorecard, the 2 openers back in the pavilion for single digits. Malik, the next one to go, also for a single digit. It's just this partnership here now between Saiteja Mukamala and Obis Pinar that's starting to form, both in double digits. They've gotten the starts now, but they've got to convert it into those bigger totals. They've got to get their side over the line. Bowling has been phenomenal. When you've got 3 bowlers bowling at 4.5 and 4 runs and over, and absolutely everyone at 6 and under, can't ask for better in a T20. Length really good on that occasion. Forcing the batter to wait a little bit and create the opportunity.
I don't know that I'd say just now that the Atlanta Fire is in trouble, but they're falling behind. There's no question that this pair is going to need to start doing something to pull their team closer toward victory. This is already the largest partnership in the innings. It's currently worth 21. They need to put on at least 50 and then accelerate from here.
Well, this has been picked up, and it's been picked up a very long way. In fact, this has gone out of the park and into the bush.
Wow.
Just when you said they were falling behind, we've now seen the first real shot of aggression from Saiteja Mukamala. This has been struck beautifully for 6.
Oh, he smashed that. Look at his body language after he plays the shot. Look where this ends up. Earlier I said halfway to Austin. That is in the direction of Austin. That's a good probably 20 yards beyond the fence. The fence itself is about 10 yards beyond the playing area. So that is a huge shot by Sai Mukamala.
He really held his shape through that shot, didn't he? The
Yep.
balance, and didn't try to overpower it either. Just quick hands through it. Would have been a wide had he left it, but why would you take 1 for the wide when you could pick up 4 in that fashion?
Well, that brings up the 50. Earlier I just said this is the largest partnership in the innings so far, now worth 29. This pair, as I said, needs to go on and put their team closer toward victory. You're exactly right, that would have been outside of that wide line, but you get 4 runs for it. If you flash your bat, nobody in the deep third, and you're in a good position here. 3 balls remaining in over number 9, but already 10 on the board.
Leg side again, goes for the short delivery. It's just gonna fall short of the fielder. Zia Huck in the deep. Just now see a bit more aggression from the bowler as well, putting a bit more pace on the deliveries.
Off the bat, I thought that would have carried straight to Zia Huck at deep in wicket.
keeping it wide, but still in the swinging arc. And this is a glorious shot. It's going to be another maximum. This time it's Obus Pinar getting into the action. And a very expensive over with a delivery to come.
Well, this ball is outside the line of off stump. Again, would have been a wide, but Obus Pinar, the difference between Obus Pinar and Simon Kamala, Obus Pinar is much taller, has a much bigger reach. So even though it was that wide, he was still able to middle it because of the reach that he has, and it flies over the top of extra cover for 6. Excellent shot. 17, biggest over in the innings by some distance, and still 1 ball to come.
Goes again. Bowler going for the short delivery, and it's going to be 6 more. I'm not quite sure if that is the best approach for the bowler. It is going to be the end of a very expensive over. 9 overs gone, 63 for 3.
I will say this. It was not as bad a ball as Obus Pinar made it look. That ball was short of length on maybe 4th stump line, but he was premeditating, maybe that may be too strong a word, but he was already aggressively looking to play that shot, and he got a ball that he could get under and absolutely mowing it over mid-wicket. 23 runs come from over number 9. That brings you much closer to where you want it to be. If you compare the Baltimore Royals at the stage were 76 for 3, they've made up a lot of the distance here. Atlanta Fire 63 for 3. .64166. Brilliant over.
Now all of a sudden the equation looks a lot easier for Atlanta Fire.
Yes.
Bit of turn away from the right-hander, and this is placed well. Should pick up 2 runs here. The intensity all of a sudden has completely changed between the 2 batters. And there's that climb up for the Worm. And the Manhattan, tallest tower so far by quite some distance.
Yep. Over number 9 in the Baltimore Royals innings went for 2. Over number 9 for the Atlanta Fire went for 23. You make up a big difference when you score essentially 3 touchdowns if you're an American football fan. You scored 3 touchdowns in the last over. That's going. That is moving.
That would never happen in football.
3 touchdowns?
Yeah?
Why is that?
Because you wait a whole game to see 3.
As I said, American football.
Yeah.
You wait a whole game to see 3. What version of American football are you watching?
You might see 6, 7 touchdowns. When do you see more than that?
A touchdown is worth 7 points. So 21 is 3 touchdowns. You know what? Never mind. Let's get back to cricket.
I'm not talking about the points. I'm seeing like the number of times that you see. How many touchdowns do you see in an average game?
Minimum of 5. Minimum. You're in football country. I don't know this part of the world, American football country. Not much happens other than football in this part of the world.
I will say it's one of the sports I find very boring.
That is an amazing, amazing accusation. There is a lot of reasons to not like football. It being boring is not one of them.
But let me explain. I think for me, I just find it too start, stop, start, stop, start, stop.
That's fair.
Whereas rugby is more, okay, we're going to continue playing on, you know, more continuity.
Fair. Completely fair.
This is an excellent over. Sarbjeet Ladda comes in and pulls back a lot of that momentum from that last expensive over. Halfway point as well, 10 overs gone. And this is that last over. Started with a swivel into the leg side. Saiteja Mukamala really opening up his shoulders. 2 sixes from him, and then Obus Pinar getting into the action as well. and absolutely smashed between both of these batters. And at the halfway point, 68 for 3. They're going to feel quite comfortable from here on. Again, I will say this partnership is key.
You're exactly right. Earlier I said they needed to put on 50. This is not me jinxing them. Let me qualify that. They've already put on 47. But it feels like this is the momentum that they needed to sort of launch the attack towards the back end. And so when you have a Zishan Maksud who's still to come, when you have, I keep calling his name in the batting context, Shadley Van Skalkvik, even somebody like a Janoy Drysdale, who is a big fast bowler, can come in and hit the long ball. If this pair gets you close, this pair gets you to within, say, 60, then you like your chances the rest of the way. Still need another 84 runs. 84 runs still needed from the next 60 balls, but it feels like this is a key moment in the game, and that's why you've handed the ball to Amshad De Silva here to start over number 11.
If you were to pick your favorite sport, what would it be?
Cricket by a long way.
Really?
Easy. If you say yours is anything other than cricket,
Poor delivery, full toss, smashed away, straight into the hands of the fielder. But my question is this not a no ball?
I have to say that to me it looked like the ball was dipping, and that's Obaspinar is pleading for it to be a no ball.
I think this was high. This is very high.
Let's see that again. This, you may have a point.
I think that is very, very unlucky. That should have been a no ball. And this partnership has been broken off a really poor delivery. 68 for 4. Saiteja Mukamala back in the pavilion.
Oh, I want to see that again. Look at this. Back of the hand, slower ball. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to be contrarian. Number one, the ball was dipping. Number two, Simon Kamala was actually slightly stooped as he played that shot. So as an umpire, you're not looking at the ball or the batter's waist. You're picking something in the background that is at the level of his waist, and that's what you're looking at to make that call.
I would love to see a replay of this and to freeze it at the point of contact.
Let's see another replay on that, because again, I'm not necessarily rooting is not the right word. I'm not necessarily taking the side of the umpire, but look when he plays the shot. He's stooped. Look at this. Look when he plays the shot. He's well stooped. Right there. Yes, but he's stooped. His knees are bent. So
I agree. He is down, but even if he was standing, I don't know if that ball would have been over his...
To me, if he's standing straight, it's at least close. It's certainly not clearly a no ball. You can argue over 2 inches or here whether or not it would have been a judge a no ball. Now, one thing is for sure, had that been Obaspinar, it would not have been, there's no doubt. Obaspinar is 8'6". So
8'6".
Okay, obviously an exaggeration.
Oh, sorry, I thought you might have switched. No.
No. But it's an interesting discussion. To me, what an umpire is doing, he's not necessarily looking at the player at the time when he plays a shot. Before the bowler starts running in, he picks something in the background, and that's what he focuses on to make that decision. Zishan Maksud is at the crease. This is going to be an interesting passage of play.
Oh, we might have a slight injury here.
Oh no.
It is Keshav who's down.
Oof.
Just looks to be in a little bit of discomfort here. But that's a very important partnership that's been broken. Both of those batters were starting to look very dangerous together. Now, key for Zishan Maksud is he's got to try and keep up with Obaspinar, but more importantly, he's got to give Obaspinar as much strike as possible. Because they've just brought that required run rate down to something manageable. They don't want to go back the other way and increase more pressure on them.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He's limping.
Definitely limping, Keshav Raval. And he appears to be favoring his right leg. For what it's worth, he still has 3 overs to go, so don't know whether or not he was part of the plans to bowl the rest of the way, but he does not look very good, does he? And that's his plant leg. Not as big an issue because he's a spinner, but still, that's the leg that you need to plant if you were bowling. So he'll certainly want to be watched here.
Right, I think this is going to be the matchup. Oba Spinar, Amshi De Silva.
It's going to be huge.
Now the other thing is also going to be how quick Zishan Maksud can be in between the wickets, because Saiteja Mukamala, Oba Spinar were able to push those quick doubles. But you've been asking for him. He's here, out in the middle, Zishan Maksud.
I think his pedigree speaks for itself. Very experienced. I also think the experience that he has will know that the best thing to do now is do exactly what you just said. Feed Oba Spinar the strike. 31 from 18. We expect that Oba Spinar will be able to push on and continue in his aggressive fashion, aggressive without being risky. And so I'm expecting for them to keep doing that. Times it beautiful. It doesn't mean the ball just races off the bat. It's a different kind of Keshav. Keshav Maksud.
Well, the hair's in the wrong part of the face there for that. And this right here is the fear now. The momentum that Oba Spinar's picked up needs to keep going for Atlanta Fire. 11 overs gone, 72 for 4. As a batter, when you are striking the ball well and you've got the momentum on your side, you want to keep strike. You want to keep going with that momentum. It's a matter of concentration as well. Seen a rocky start from Atlanta Fire. Stephen Taylor was the first one to go. And that's a really good catch by Keshav Raval behind point to take an absolute flyer. This is a great take at first slip. And this Saiteja Mukamala, the last wicket to fall, thought he would have had enough to clear the boundary and thought, at least if I didn't, I've got a chance at a no ball for height. Neither happened. He is back in the pavilion.
Well, it's an interesting position in the game. You don't want to lose another wicket, but you're not yet halfway there in terms of the runs that you need. Another 80 needed in the next 54 balls. So some desperation, maybe desperation maybe too strong a word, but some urgency is needed from here. But you have to mix, I said it earlier, caution with aggression, because if you lose Oba Spinar now, that's essentially the beginning of the death rattle. So this pair now needs to bat, and I said earlier the other two needed to put on, Obas and Simon Kamala needed to put on 50. This feels like it needs to be another 30-35 run partnership to get it close so the batters down the order can have a go at the end.
Even if they're not able to get the big boundaries, if they can continue doing this, just helps keep on top of that required run rate. I haven't really updated you on the scores from the other two games. We have also had 2 games on the ground behind us. So 2 games on simultaneously beside each other. I'm trying to get you swept away. And oh, that is fumbled. Should just be, and that right there. Well, try and get you a replay of the running between the wickets on that delivery. Because Obus Pinar has hit this. He's sprinted across to the other side and looking for a second. Try and see if we can get you a replay on this.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Goes long. Zishan Maksud and goes long enough for 6. This is struck really well from the meatiest part of his bat.
Leg spinner bowling to the left-handed batter, turning into him, and he hammers this. Drags it from a 5th stump line. That's a clean strike that goes over the fence. That's how well he's hit it. Zishan Maksud.
And I'll pick up a quick single here. It is leg buys as well off the pad. Still want to see if we can try and get you that replay of running between the wickets. And if there are any kids watching this, really want you to focus on why we say it's important to push every single run hard. But that first one exactly is very important to run hard. Bit of turn off the surface. And 2 runs to close the over. 12 overs gone. It's 84 for 4.
Game time here, Manali Patel. New partnership, now worth 16. 4th wicket partnership went for 47, so that fell short of the 50 that I had requested. But experience counts for a whole lot. And if you're Zishan Maksud and you know that there's a leg spinner bowling to you, you can take him on and put him over the fence at long on, you do that. You also recognize the fact that as you look at those worms, look at the white worm, the one at the bottom, is getting closer and closer to the red worm. And let's remind each other that the red worm slowed down, or the white worm slowed down tremendously. I think those graphics might have been switched in the previous one, but for the most part, things became a little bit more difficult for the batting side, the Baltimore Royals, in their innings when they batted. So an important part of the game here to me right now, it is Keshav Raval, who's back into the attack. Good to see that he's healthy enough to get back onto the field and get back into the bowling attack. But this is an interesting matchup. Left arm orthodox, bowling to the left-handed Zishan Maksud. So you can expect the ball turning into him for him to look to hit big in this area toward us. I think we should get catching practice sometime soon. Interesting. Just feeding the strike to Obus Pinar. So now if you're Obus Pinar, 36 from 20. 36 from Obus Pinar, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, 36 from 22. How do you play this? You can hit the ball a mile, but you don't want to take any risks. Do you take on the young orthodox spinner, choosing for the moment to put away the big shots? Feels like we're poised for something to happen here. Something has to give, one way or the other, very soon.
Just tying the ball very well over Spinar. Long levers help that as well. Plenty of overs to come still, so they won't feel too worried. Atlanta Fire. I think for the Royals it is going to be let's pick up wickets. It's the only way you can comfortably try and solidify this game. Quicker delivery, going with the angle as well away from the left-hander.
At some point, Zishan Maksud is going to take on Keshav Raval. And again, in this direction is what I'm expecting. From Amsha De Silva earlier talked about how the fact that he's a really good outfielder. Oba Spinar, 37 from 24. If he hits a 6 on this ball, the scores will be exactly level after 13 overs, 93 for 4 each. So we're rooting for a 6 on this ball just because I like those statistical oddities.
Are you one of those OCD people with numbers?
Yep.
So when you're driving, does the volume have to be on an odd number or an even number? Which are you? Or does that not matter?
It doesn't matter if I'm listening to music. I just put it on 10, basically. Single down the ground closes out over number 13. I didn't get the 93 for 4 I was looking for, but the two teams are still relatively close. 88 for 4 after 13. Well, Sarjit Ladda is going to bowl his last over. Interesting matchup continues. Sarjit Ladda versus Oba Spinar. Extra cover wide open with a leg spinner. Expect that if it's wide enough, Oba Spinar will try to target that area outside off stump. Very calm aspect or a calm characterization to the chase. They're not necessarily looking overly aggressive. That can be one of two things. Either A, they're completely satisfied that they are where they need to be and they can accelerate at any time, or they continue to fall behind. Hammered. Put away for 4. Zishan Maksud will want that ball turning into him the way that one was.
I think it is the quiet confidence that Atlanta Fire have in them. They do believe that they've got enough batting to be able to see them home. Not overwhelmed by this total or this target. And that struck beautifully for 4. We've seen the sweep shot very prevalent throughout both of these games on this ground.
Look how wide of the crease Subject Ladder is bowling. Look how wide he is. Oh! What a stunning catch that is. Great work in the deep. A diving catch rather. And that is the end of Zishan Maksud. Big wicket that, 93 for 5.
Absolutely phenomenal this. It was in the air for some time, but they had to travel quite a distance to be able to get under this ball. This is very well taken to dismiss the likes of Zishan Maksud. Looking to be a bit more aggressive, doesn't get the distance on this occasion. Maksud gone back. It's 93 for 5. And just when we thought this innings was starting to become comfortable for Atlanta Fire, they just lost another wicket. Still believe this game is evenly poised. 5 down, you're now getting closer to the tail end of your batting lineup. Mind you, Obis Pinar still out in the middle.
So earlier I said to you, if you want something done right, call a Jamaican. I'll get back to that point shortly. Look at this catch. The fielders are in Batra. Excellent diving catch. He's bowled 1 over and he was extremely expensive. Went for 23 in that over. But much of that damage has been made up for with that catch because you needed to break that partnership. Now, Paul Palmer. Again, Jamaican. You can do worse than having a Jamaican in a pressure situation like this. Hits a really good long ball. Don't expect that he'll come in swinging for the fences. That's interesting because Zishan Maksud, lefty. Paul Palmer, lefty. I would imagine the next batter in would be Shadley Van Skalkvik, also lefty. So heavy toward left-handed batters going down towards the back end of this innings. Immediately off the mark here, they should just settle for 1, and they do. Obis Pinar. A lot depends on him from here. 39 from 26. A quick math in my head says that's a strike rate of 150. Correct me if I'm wrong. Two balls remaining here in over number 14. What does Obis Pinar do? More importantly, 2 balls remaining in Subject Ladder's spell. That shot from Obis Pinar tells me that he just wants to see off the leg spinner and get his runs from somebody else.
Not the worst decision. Got 37 deliveries to come. See off this over, not a big deal.
True to form, a couple of dots to end over number 14. You don't mind that at all if you are the Atlanta Fire because you've just gotten, as you've seen off, the great Subject Ladder. End of over number 14, 94 for 5. Last 6 overs coming up. Paul Palmer, 1 from 1. And he's facing the left arm orthodox of Keshav Raval. into the deep, straight to square leg for a single. So you're at the business end of this match, Manali Patel. 57 needed in 35. Dare I ask you the question about your win predictor again?
Still sticking with Atlanta Fire at the moment.
I am much more convinced.
Now this is a concern because it is day one technically of this tournament, and Keshav has now been down at least 3 times. We saw him stretching when he was out here as well. He's really struggling with that leg, and it's not really an injury per se. It is more just some tightness, and I think it might be the heat, dehydration. That's a concern though if he's already pulling up, because he's got another 5 more days of games back to back.
Mm-hmm. Quick look at the runs per over. Atlanta Fire have the firepower, no pun intended, to make up the little bit of a gap that they're facing right now. Spinar continuing now into the 40s. 40 from 29. At the end of over number 14, the Baltimore Royals were 100 for 4. The Atlanta Fire at the end of 14 were 94 for 5. So still thereabouts. And again, the Baltimore Royals did not score heavily toward the back end of their innings. So that would be encouraging for the Atlanta Fire.
Definitely muscling the ball. I'm just not able to get the placement or the distance. Spinar has quietly now moved on to 40 off 29. That man on screen though is struggling. He is struggling, and he's going to need some rest after this game, and some physio as well to try and get him through the rest of the week.
Short, pulled away into the deep. That's good work at deep mid wickets. Off the bat, I thought that may well have been in the gap. That's good work up there. Ritvik Behera on the boundary. So you've had a succession of singles now. 4 of them in all. In fact, wait. Was there a boundary that I missed in this over? Okay. Pull away again. This one is a boundary, in fact. Goes away from 4 to backward square leg.
I'm going to say this again. He's struggling, Keshav Raval, and he is down. Now, this is the boundary. Latched onto the short ball 2 straight and was asking to be hit. This time the placement's good, but this is a real cause for concern. When your bowler is struggling that much, if I'm the captain, I would say, you know what, we'll find a part-timer to finish this over for you. You need to go and figure out what's wrong with that leg. I think that might be the case at the moment, because he is absolutely struggling at the moment. Hobbling off the field right now.
Yeah, he certainly looks like he's done. So you were primarily a batter when you played, yes?
Yes, and then as I was retiring, I became a bowler. Well, no, sorry, that's not true. I was always a part-time bowler, but
you became more prominent with your bowling toward the end of your career.
Because my batting wasn't quite. That's when you know the time is right, when what you're good at isn't quite working and the other thing starts to become your forte. That's when you kind of know it's time to hang up those shoes.
Well, I will say this. As a bowler, you certainly don't want to be in the position where you're hurting your side. And so sometimes ego can take over and you're like, okay, I need to finish this over myself. I started it, I want to finish it. But if you can't plant properly, and that is his plant foot that he's having an issue with, then essentially you hurt your side by continuing to bowl. So certainly no problem with him coming off of the field here. So currently the score is 101, make the 102 for 5. Oh, knocked him over. Look at that. Paul Palmer is dismissed. It is Neil Nervarka, I believe, who's come on to finish the over that was started by Keshav Raval, and the one delivery that he has bowled so far, he has knocked over Paul Palmer. Big moment in the game here.
Needed it. Needed a wicket desperately to pull this momentum back on their side, the Royals. That's going to be the sixth one down, 101 for 6. We'll just wait for that scorecard to update. And you'll now have to feel even more pressure for Obis Pinar. He will have to see his side over the line. Still believe 51 off 31 is very doable in a T20 game.
No question. But what I will say is this. And earlier I'd suggested that the next person coming in was going to be Shadley Van Skalvik. You see that replay again. Paul Palmer wanting to play that one a lot straighter instead of trying to play to mid-wicket. But here, instead of Shadley Van Skalvik, it is Nitish Sudhini who's coming to take his place at the crease. Will be at the non-strikers, and Obis Pinar will be the man on strike. And interestingly, they have gone to Ziaul Haq, who has 2 overs left. Ziaul Haq, you would think, would bowl overs maybe 16 and 18. But the fact that Ziaul Haq has been introduced here, to me, says how important it is for them to either dismiss Obis Pinar or at least keep him quiet.
Being able to keep him at the non-strikers end will help that cause.
If you are Nitish Sudhini, is the job right now just to give strike to Obis Pinar? Or do you feel any responsibility to score yourself?
I mean, the fact of the matter is there's still a distance away from 152. And to say that Obis Pinar is the one going to be hitting the remaining 50 runs is a bit optimistic. He's going to need support at the other end. And if you can hit shots like that, then why do you wait on the other person at the other end? Take the attack on your own. I mean, this is cleared for a boundary. Yes, there was a fielder there. However, that's come out of the screws.
That is the first ball he has faced, and he's played that like he's been in there for an hour. That is a brilliant, brilliant strike down the ground.
And that takes a lot of pressure off of Obis Pinar as well, because now he's thinking, okay, I've got someone who can also strike the ball on the other side. It's not all up to me.
Played away, off the edge, running toward the boundary and getting there. Consecutive boundaries, that helps your cause if you're the Atlanta Fire.
I mean, I know this wasn't completely out of the middle, but this is well placed. You could just see he's opened the face of that bat to allow for it to go as fine as possible. And this is raced away to the boundary. It's back-to-back boundaries. Pressure now back on the bowler.
Pressure absolutely on the bowler. Don't look now. At the end of over number 16, the Baltimore Royals were 118 for 5. 4 balls remain. Make that 3 balls remaining in over 16 here. 110 for 6 is where the Atlanta Fire is. Wanted to force that one away off the back foot, didn't he? Not anywhere close to it. Is he calling for a drink?
Or a hat? Or just sunglasses?
It's not the third ball. I hope it wasn't a drink he was calling for.
I wasn't sure if it was a hat or sunglasses. It definitely wasn't a drink, I don't think.
I can't imagine that you'd be calling for a hat facing to Ziaul Haq.
Mind games, Brian. Come on. You think you're quick? See this? I'm wearing a hat. Can't phase me with that pace. It's all about the mind games. Mind you, that would be very
I would absolutely not expect
irresponsible.
Very much so. Very much so. 41 needed from 25. What a great Yorker that one is. Well played too by Obaspinar. You don't see him pushing for the second run here because it means he will keep the strike. 11 coming from over number 16. I think he had something in mind, differently in mind when you brought Ziaul Haq to bowl his penultimate over. End up over number 16, 1-1-2 for 6.
Obaspinar stand out in this batting lineup. 46 off 33. I'm sure he would like a half century, but more than that, he would like to see his side over the line. Required run rate 10 runs and over. They need 152 to cross over the line.
You are determined to jinx out half of the side. Anybody who comes up approaching a milestone, you're determined to mention it, and when you mention it, they'll be dismissed. If Obaspinar does not get to his 100, as you look at these, that one over extra cover for me is a shot of the match. But if he does not get to 100 or to 50, the blame lies squarely with you, as it appears as though he's taking a middle and off guard. Interesting.
Guard. Or maybe just marking it.
Oh, certainly marking it. But let's see. That does look like off stump because we're not directly down the pitch. So that
No, he did point to the off stump when he asked the umpire for it.
Interesting. Here we go.
And I'm not opposed to this. That's a wide, and it's forced the bowler to go further wide because he is standing in between off and middle. And I'm not completely opposed to this because it just allows the batter to be then able to play the ball through the offside and the leg side.
We'll check to see whether or not that's an actual wide. We thought it was. The scoreboard reflects differently. Hammered. One bounce down to long off.
And that is why he wanted to take that guard. He knows towards the end of the innings, the bowlers are going to try and bowl those wide Yorkers. He wants to be able to reach that. If he's too far at leg stump, then he won't be able to throw his hands at it and get a good enough connection.
Amshida Silva, this is his last over. Nitish Sudini 9 from 4. Couple of boundaries looking good so far.
Did you have any pet peeves when you played?
Pet peeves? Like little sort of things that I always had to do.
No, things that annoyed you.
Annoyed me. Bowlers who got me out generally.
I can understand that one. You know what my biggest pet peeve was?
What's that?
If I'm batting and the bowler takes forever to bowl the next delivery, especially spinners,
Sure.
or if I'm bowling and the batter takes forever to get ready.
Athletic, but can't prevent the single. How
Was
did
it-
you mark your crease or your guard when you played
Just my spike.
spike?
Yeah.
Well, I would say most of my cricket was played on artificial surfaces like concrete with astroturf. So I always used to use chalk, of course. See that nice athletic move there by Mshida Silva. But then I always used to put an arrow at the end of the line.
Why is that?
Just because it was like here, this is me right here. Slower delivery, lofted, and long on will not be in a position to take a catch. And just for that split second, Manala Patel's heart was in her mouth because she thought she got another wicket.
No, not at all. Not at all. I am, however, watching and thinking you might have just lost a little bit of that timing.
Long on again in play. Long on will not get there. Boundary number 3 to Nitish Sodini.
This is some shot by Nitish Sodini. Quick hands. Hasn't even really followed through with the shot. It's a short arm jab.
Yep.
And just the bat speed on this has absolutely fired this over the line.
32 more runs needed from 20 balls.
There is a lot of confidence at the moment out in the middle between these two batters, primarily because of the way Nitish has come out and has been able to take the attack back to the bowlers. I do find the arrow quite amusing, though, that you had to put an arrow there, just in case you forgot what the line meant. You
Well,
needed
first of
the
all,
arrow.
there's like 4 or 5 other markings on there, so I needed to distinguish mine from the others. And the best way to do that was to put the B. Now, the handful of times where we, in the first club I used to play for here, we played an actual turf wicket. So I used to do the Chandapal thing and hammer it
right.
into
The bail.
Yeah, use the bail, hammer it into the turf. But from the rest of the time,
That's too much effort.
it makes it look like you know what you're doing. It makes it look like you're expected to score runs. You're gonna make your mark. He can bat. I'm sure he can bat.
First, and then your first bowler on your way back.
How many times have you played where you got a first ball?
That's a good question, actually.
If you don't tell me you've never gotten a first baller, because I don't.
I'm sure I've gotten first bowlers. I just don't know how many I've gotten. I still remember this one game that I played. It was against Tobago, and I was fielding second innings. First innings, I got out for a duck, and I got no idea how many balls I faced, but I got out for a duck. And I had taken that in my mind onto the field for the second innings. So I was fielding on the boundary, saw the ball coming to me. I was like, okay, I'll long barrier this, because back in the day that was fine.
Sure.
And I long barriered it, except the ball went in front of me, and I watched it go to the rope. And I was like, oh my goodness, absolutely horrendous. All I was thinking was the coach is going to kill me after this. I've scored 0 runs today for the team, and I've just let a boundary go by in the worst way possible.
I will tell you about the worst day that I've ever had on a cricket field. I'll tell you after this delivery.
Oh, that was not the worst day I've had. I'll tell you about that one.
Great delivery. Well played in the end. Goes down to deep third. Batted.
Using the crease very well there.
Yep. I was batting. Lasted all of 3 balls. Got a full toss from a spinner. And the simplest of catches to mid-off. Bowling, 3 overs, I don't know, 48 or something. In the field, I pick up my water bottle that's on the sideline. I take it up, take a sip. There was a wasp inside of the nozzle. I got stung on my tongue. Hammered! Down to mid-wicket for a single. So, That's the end of over number 17. 10 runs come from the over, 122 for 6. I ended up that day with 0 runs against my name with the bat, 48 runs with the ball, and a swollen tongue.
Sounds like an awful
If
day.
you want to know how that day went.
Mine was more emotional. Definitely not like that. This was, gosh, this was a very long time ago. I can't even remember the year anymore.
Oh, that was a no ball. Missed that. My apologies. Free hit. Slice toward us. It's going to go all the way for 6. Amazing shot by Nitish Sudhini. That is insult to injury at the end of the over. 129 for 6 after 17.
You can't afford to be bowling no balls at this point of the game, and unfortunately this time it's cost 6 runs for the Royals. 17 overs gone, 129 for 6. My worst day, or I should actually call it a worst series, was I don't remember what year this would have been, probably 2011. I think it was about 2010, maybe 2011. We had a tri-series against the US. It was a qualifier to get to the global qualifiers. So just US Canada, 3 games, and God, I can tell you we had worked so hard, and I genuinely mean, like, we had put in training, gyms. You say it, we had done it. And then we lost the first game to the US, and obviously it stung.
Sure.
But that meant that we had to win the next game or we were out.
Sure.
And we lost the next game, and that was it. That was 2 years gone from our lives of not seeing the global qualifier. And just remember, well bowled, but really well followed this by the batter.
That is 50 for Obaspinar. Excellent batting. Batted with a level head. That single down the leg side brings his team to within 22 of victory with 17 balls to go. Please finish your thoughts.
Oh, this is an exceptional half century before I get to my story,
Yes,
but a very well paced half century at a very important time for his side, for Obaspinar. Sorry, I think he's still on.
No, he's on 50. He's already raised the bat.
Okay, we'll just wait for our score to
Scoreboard will
catch
get caught
up.
up with us here in a minute,
But right, so we lost that second game. At that point, you're like, oh my gosh, all of that time and effort. And I walked off the field. My parents were there to watch that game because it was in Canada, and I just bawled. Picked up beautifully. It is going to get over the rope as well for 6 runs. Not interested in hanging around for too long here. Obaspinar has got his half century. He wants to see his team over the line, and they can finish this in quick succession as well.
Look at this pickup shot. It's not a bad ball. If anything, it's too straight. But Obaspinar was backing away to the leg side anyway, so that would have negated the fact that it was too straight. But he just powers it over mid-wicket for 6. Scoop shot. Scoop shot. Needless to say, premeditated. He wants to take it home in style.
I'm just glad he didn't get any bat on that. He would have given some slip catching practice, but to the keeper.
Right. So just another 15 needed for victory from 14 balls. They're actually ahead of the game at this stage. Pull away around the corner. Jaskaran Malhotra deep backward square leg. Does the cleanup work? 14. How do you want to score 14? 2 4s and a 6 ought to do it?
Just get over the line. Doesn't matter how you do it. The safest way possible.
Sure. Important innings Nitish Sudhini has played, by the way. Last ball. None for 29 from his 3.5, so didn't necessarily have the impact that you were looking for from his strike bowler. Has not looked the same bowler since the ball stopped swinging. Bowled overs 1 and 3, conceded 2 and 7 runs respectively. A little bit more expensive the rest of the way. Ooh, trouble here. Had that been a direct hit, Sodini may have been in trouble, but he gets home. That is the end of the over, end of the spell for Ziaul Haq. And at the end of 18, here Obus highlights, Obus Pinar's highlights. Just really solid looking, and then the way he accelerated toward the back end of the innings, I think was the thing to witness.
It has been an exceptional half century, a quick fire half century as well, and I'm sure well appreciated by his side as well. Just want to see if we can pull up that highlights reel again for Obus Pinar. The thing that I really want to highlight is his footwork. See if we can get the whole highlights package again, because traditionally, you know, when you coach younger ones, you want them to move their feet to the ball, you want them to be able to get in a closer position to the ball. But if you watch how Obus Pinar has actually struck each and every one of this, it's not a lot of foot movement, but it is really good weight transfer. And if you watch his head, it is as still as possible. Quick hands through the ball, but all about balance and weight transfer. Really good knock for half century today for him.
So the penultimate over of the innings, Amshi De Silva bowling his last. Slow delivery, launched in the air. Who wants it? De Silva himself, and he cannot get to it. And in the meantime, they scramble for a couple. So just 11 runs separating you from victory here. See how long that ball stays in the air. And Amshi De Silva did his best to try to get there, but he would have had in the corner of his eye the image of that fielder coming off of the ropes. That would have distracted him a little bit. End of the day, you still need another 11 to go for victory. Smashed, and smashed hard, and smashed for 4.
Not the best of deliveries from Amshi De Silva this time, and this is placed and timed beautifully. Again, just the bat speed that Nitish Sudani is able to generate. Every single shot that he has played, that bat speed has been incredible to watch. Gives the fielders no chance whatsoever in the deep.
Well, just 6, make that 7 runs required for victory now. Slower delivery. A 6 closes things out in style here, Manali. Does Obus Pinar want to change things with a 6?
There, for the first time, the worm is now above the worm of the red. It's partly because they've held on to their wickets as well. Started a little bit slower than the Royals did, but they've made up for it. Don't think it's going to be a 6 to finish.
It could still be a 6, but certainly wasn't on that occasion. Such an important innings played by Obus Pinar, though. 57 from 40. And ably assisted Nitish Sodini. Believe it or not, this partnership is the second highest partnership of the innings, short just by 1 for the partnership for the 4th wicket. So this pair really having a huge say in what happens in this game. That now equals the highest partnership in the innings, and they're still going with just another 4 balls remaining, make that 4 runs remaining, and 7 balls. Feels like it's all academic at this point, doesn't it?
Just a few too many expensive overs in the middle from the Royals. They were well on top of a good third of the beginning of this game. Pulled away, set up nicely for him as well. But there is protection in the deep. Looks like they're going to get over the line in singles.
Well, 10 runs come from over number 19. A small matter of 3 runs required for victory going into the last over. And the Atlanta Fire, one would think, on the cusp of victory by the margin of, let's call it, 4 wickets.
Partnerships, by far a really good partnership between Obaspinar and Nitish Sedini. One other partnership earlier on between Saiteja Mukamala and Obaspinar. These two partnerships have helped Atlanta Fire get in a comfortable position. Just double checking the score. Obaspinar wanting to make sure that they know exactly how many they need.
Atharva Kaushal.
You've thrown the ball to a new bowler, a young'un too, and asked him to defend
3 runs.
3 runs.
Oh, here we go. And defend 3 runs against a man who has 58 against his name.
Looking to come back for 2. No, we will see them just settle for the 1 run. 2 runs to win.
Yeah, and that, by the way, that single bringing up the 150. And 1 single away from a 50-run partnership. So just a really brilliant effort with the bats. Unbroken as of now for the 7th wicket between Sedini and Obaspinar. In the air, that is your 50-run partnership, and that levels the scores. In fact, they come back for the 2nd run, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the game. A pretty clinical performance in the end, and there were some wobbles there for the Atlanta Fire, but they do get home by the margin of 4 wickets.
Clinical performance. Started slow, lost a few early wickets, Atlanta Fire, but they have come back and finished this game in style. That man on screen, Obaspinar, half century to him, anchored this innings and played a vital role in Atlanta Fire picking up their first win at the Houston Open 2026. And players, handshakes all around as we take a quick look at the batting card of how we got here. 59 off 42, pick of the batters, Obaspinar, 2 4s, 4 6s, and a handy 27 from Saiteja Mukamala and Nitish Sedini at the end. 34 off 16 not out, was probably the most important batter in this lineup after Obaspinar. Came in at a tricky time when his side needed runs and his side needed stability, and he helped offer not just to his side that stability, but also some confidence to Obaspinar. 152 for 6, Atlanta Fire. The bowling, on the other hand, started well but struggled to the end.
Well, for me, the best of the bowlers may have been Neil Narvekar. 2 overs, 2 for 12. Didn't have enough support. And you have Ziaul Haq, who bowled well initially, moving the ball away from Stephen Taylor. But just no wickets, nothing in that wicket column, and going for 7.5 and over. A little bit more expensive than he would have wanted to be. Aryan Bachar will have better days with the ball than the 1 over that he bowled that went for 23 runs. Look at these highlights. Stephen Taylor, flattered to deceive. This is a shot that he probably should not have played. And then the good sharp catch taken at backward point by Keshav Raval. And look at this catch here. Just Grand Malhotra getting those hands just underneath. But Obaspinar coming to the party. Very, very strong, hitting the ball cleanly. Simon Kamala was there to assist him as well. And this, for me, is the shot of the day, that one that went over extra cover. Some debate here as to whether or not this should have been a no ball. I think the umpire probably got it right. Zishan Maksud stuck around for a while until he was out caught. But then Obas Benar pairing up with Nitish Sudini to take things home. Paul Palmer is the one who played a couple of good shots but then got cleaned up there. And after Paul Palmer, you saw that lovely shot down the ground by Nitish Sudini and then did what he needed to do to stay with Obas Benar. And calm batting the rest of the way. Didn't think that the bowlers toward the end had as much impact on the close of the innings as they would have wanted to. And it resulted in a pretty straightforward victory. 4 balls to spare and a victory by the margin of 4 wickets. Obas Benar, Shiloh Van Skalkvik, I think was very good when he bowled, was not needed with the bat. And overall, a very clinical performance. Our next match, the third of the day, as you have a marathon spell here between Manali Patel and Brian Walters. The third match will be coming up, the Columbus Falcons and the Bay Blazers. Official time to start, I believe, should have been 3:30. So let's say it will be sometime within the next 15 or so minutes as we can see the captains in the middle for the toss for that game coming up. So stick around, we'll be back for that match. Signing off for the moment from field number 5 at Prairie View.